You're listening to The Pete Shepard Show.
Back to school for some of you, especially here in Florida and Lee County. That's a shame. Anyway, wakey. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Pete Shepard Show. Here it is Monday, August 12th of the great year of 2024. Hope everybody had a nice weekend. It was quite hot here in Southwest Florida, but nevertheless, a very nice weekend as well. I am Pete Shepard. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out here on the Coastal Sports Network and the video platform. You can follow me at PShep326 on X Twitter, on Facebook at SR1029 The Game, and also you can download the app at SR1029thegame.com. We are powered by Ion Tampa Bay, Ion TV, CSN Florida, Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch. And you can call and text the show at 727-858-6650. Good show lined up for you today, as always. We've got John Serity. Well, first we're going to have Rick Horrow, who sent us a video, his recap of the Olympics, which is awesome. We wait to see it. We're going to play it at 8:30. The sports professors, a.k.a. the sports business guru, Rick Horrow at 8:30. John Serity, the owner and editor of New England Football Journal, covers the Patriots, also big into D1 football and high school football. This guy loves, eats, breathes, and sleeps NFL and college football. He is fantastic. You're going to love him. And we're going to probably try to get him on a regular basis as well. And then Patrick Kilroy with his thoughts on the Olympic basketball team down the end, winning the gold medal barely over France. And the United States women's basketball team won the gold as well, barely over France yesterday. Got some NFL camp news as always. Lots of exhibition games over the weekend. Bo Nix is the one that really stood out for many of us. He was outstanding for the Denver Broncos yesterday. We'll have an MLB rundown. Jaron Duran just said something, whatever. I don't think it's something that if he said asshole instead of the word that he said, no one would give a damn. But anyway, it got blown out of proportion and yada yada. I'm not even gonna really bring. It's such a stupid non-story anyway. If people only realize, I know most people do. The fan behind the plate was being a real jerk. I'm surprised they didn't throw him out for the stuff that he was saying. There was a few little kids around, but anyway, not a big deal in my book. The Red Sox issued some half-assed apology for what he said, which I thought was ridiculous and unnecessary. It's just so stiff. See, if he had said a-hole or f-bombed or something like that, no one would care. And he didn't mean it in a derogatory way towards the LBGTQ ABCDEFG community. So it's ridiculous. And that's all I'm saying about it, because it's such a stupid non-story. And I would say that about anybody, not just because it's a Red Sox player. But we'll do an MLB rundown. The bigger story with the Red Sox is they lost Paxton yesterday with, I thought it was a knee injury. It was a calf injury, just a few pitches into the game, 3 batters in. And this could be the beginning of the end for the Red Sox. They got swept by the Astros, and home runs, gargantuan style, were flying out of Fenway Park, mostly by the Astros the last 3 days. So the Red Sox are sort of fading here. Their pitching is just absolutely depleted. But NFL, we are closer now. We are 12 days away from week 0 in college football, and that means Florida State and Georgia Tech out in Dublin, Ireland, to highlight that week. And then, week 1 on August 31st. With some great games there, Georgia Clemson. Of course, my Miami Hurricanes heading to the Swamp to play Florida in Gainesville, which I am so happy I will be attending. I can't wait for that. That's in 19 days. And more NFL exhibition stuff. We're going to hear from Jerry Jones, who backtracked yesterday on CeeDee Lamb, sort of. And we're gonna play Friday's Get Up cut with the boys on ESPN, talking about Jerry Jones and CeeDee Lamb, and then we'll give you Jerry Jones' cut from yesterday at some point, right after that, from a Total Sports Rep. Meanwhile, it is indeed Angel Martinez here, as well, executive producer, host extraordinaire. Angel, good morning, my friend. How are you? How was your weekend?
Like a flash. What's happening, Pete? Quick weekend. It seemed like, at least. Although we did tend to sleep in yesterday, which was like super super rare.
What
But
is sleeping in for you? What does that mean? Because
uh,
sleeping in for me is like 7 o'clock. I not because I don't want to. It's just because I just it's just my body now.
oh no, that's normally what I am too. But for we end up we slept until like 9:15 in the morning, which now it seems like,
Oh,
yeah, like three-quarters of the day is already shot when you're normally up at 7 or 7:30 something else, even on a weekend. But I actually felt like one of the seniors around here that was like, huh, we're just staying in bed, honey. But yeah, end up sleeping until about 9:18, and Martinez and Company will no longer be a show. I've heard from people that it absolutely sucks and they can't stand it, so the show will no longer be around.
what?
Yeah.
Who said that?
I get a lot of folks that say they can't stand it. They think it's ridiculous. So the people have spoken, and I won't have a show anymore.
Well, that's come out of that's the first I'm hearing this. So what? What? Because a couple of numbnuts on social media?
Well, that and a couple others.
Oh, I don't. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. Just I don't know. I hope I wouldn't take everything to heart what people on Twitter are saying, or not just Twitter, but on social media. You sure you want to do that?
Of course, I'm not sure.
Well, I don't know what people. I don't know what people have. I don't think you should let a few knuckleheads out there on social media. I mean, we get, you do this long enough, you get called every name in the book. You just got to, unless somebody gets really, really overly personal. If that's the case, you block them or something. But I wouldn't give up on your show. It's crazy.
Yeah, me either. That's why I started with controversy this Monday, just like the rest of the suckface Olympics, the way they figured out. You throw that wrench in there. No, listen, folks, I'm just kidding. But the one big thing, Pete, which absolutely, what I did get was a lot of people that are really infuriated with the way the Olympics were, which is kind of funny because I know, like, we have the audio. And this is what I will say in all seriousness. No one said that. And I just like to play around over the weekend this morning. But no, what I end up getting, which is really weird, Pete, is that even though we like touched here and there on the Olympics, the messages that I was getting for actually Olympic coverage, people liked it, but I think a lot of people that were really upset was the very beginning of the Olympics, obviously the opening ceremony. I was getting recaps of people. The other thing was, which everybody feels it's absolutely ridiculous and insane, was the whole breakdancing thing, or whatever they want to call it, pop, lock, and drop. Because the lady from Australia who's supposed alleged be a breakdancer herself, but it's just there's a lot of folks that are really super upset with what's going on. So
As
there's
far as what? As far as what? I mean, because like I said, I didn't watch a whole lot of it. I know there are a couple of controversial moments, but as far as what are they upset about?
so there's people that liked the what they consider the actual athletes, meaning like the long jump, hurdles, javelin, like all the stuff that we've known by. There's folks that feel like the ping pong should be gone. I don't know. We tuned it in every once in a while. We thought it was quite entertaining, which is kind of ridiculous, but it fun at the same time. But a lot of them didn't like the whole thing between obviously. Now, supposedly Brittany Griner had nailed, but come to find out that that wasn't the case. That's from what was told as well. I was trying to find more info if I possibly could, but where a lot of people were more upset, I didn't care for men's basketball. I'll be honest, God, truth, because the whole kneeling thing drives me bananas. But even that, it's just there's a certain level of confidence, there's a certain level of cockiness, and there's a certain level of kind of like arrogance. And with me, with some of the stuff when it comes to men's basketball. All right, great. That's fine. Won the gold. Joel Embiid, they try to make him bigger than what he is, and he's really not doing anything for Philly anymore. So I'm glad he won the gold medal because he's not going to win an NBA championship with Philly, that's for sure. But I don't, I didn't. To me, I enjoy the Olympics. It may not have been altogether the way that I think they could have done a better job, and it's tough when it's overseas. I get it. We don't want to hear like who wanted to go throughout the day.
I don't know what else they could have done for a better job. They're on 5 freaking stations, all the NBC affiliates. I mean, it's just a matter of taste. You either like some of the events or you don't. I mean, I'm sure the gymnastics got high ratings. I'm sure the men and women's basketball got high ratings. But yeah, I tuned in ping pong for 10 minutes and I saw no rallies above like 3 hits. It was, people expect. I said it the other day, last Friday. I mean, they expect like Forrest Gump ping pong at the Olympics. Where
Yeah.
it's going to be 8,000. So I mean. Most of it's just boring to me. I think Shaquille O'Neal, in fact, to your point, I think this is a great. If we can go to Total Sports Prep, I was going to save this for later, but if you scroll Angel all the way down to the Olympics, Shaq, and I think a lot of people like me agree with him. I think Steve Kerr coached this team like a jackass, and they were actually quite lucky to win the gold. To be honest with you, they should have won the gold. It would have been. If we could scroll down to the Olympics and then to Shaq is not impressed with the 2024 Olympic men's basketball team. This was on the big podcast with Shaq. I believe it was yesterday, but it's
Tatum not playing in game 1 and Kerr saying, I feel like an idiot.
I'm not even paying attention to the Olympics.
Don't really?
Yeah.
As a former Olympian,
no, it's just
Dream Team 2 doesn't interest you.
They scare me.
What do you mean they scare you?
I have a dominant personality. I don't care who you are, whatever. Me and my cousin Kenny just had this argument upstairs. He said the world is getting closer. I don't think it is. Obviously it is. Like the fact that they win 97 and 95 and you only beat South Sudan by 1. Come on, bro. That's never supposed to happen.
You've seen, though, how the Dream Team faced like 6 NBA players.
I don't
this
give
team
up.
Faced 60.
I don't care. So what? I want to hear it. That's an excuse that you're earthing Jews. I don't care about none of that.
Just trying to facilitate a
It
conversation.
doesn't matter.
I don't actually believe these things.
A professional player.
Saying things so
a
that you
professional
can
player is a professional player. Bad enough we got all these Europeans.
You just faced Jokic, who won the MVP, so it's not like it was some random guy. It was Jokic and Bogdanovich and a bunch of other Vitches.
They're all random. They're all random.
So what's the minimum amount that Team USA should win each game by?
20. If you don't win by 20, I'm not impressed.
Yeah, look, I think Shaq speaks for a lot of us, and I'm tired of hearing about the world catching up to the United States in basketball. And look, they won the gold medal. If they didn't win the gold medal, it would have been a complete embarrassment. I think Steve Kerr coached the team like a jackass, and I've circled the games when the Celtics played Golden State, and I don't want to hear about Drew Holiday and Derek White and all this stuff. That guy coached this team like a jackass. You didn't even need him. You didn't even need him out there as a coach, to be honest with you. But it was. Shaq's right. They should clobber all these teams. They should clobber them. It's no excuses. So they won the gold. Yippee-ki-yay. And good for them. They should have won it. It wasn't overly impressive, but it's kind of. They're also you're in a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't win by 25 or 30, then what are we doing out there? And then other teams over the years, not just this year, have come close and have beaten the United States, even with the pros. It has happened, but it really shouldn't happen. It's like the old. CP Russian team, the old Russian team. I mean, they'd win 50 games in a row, 8-1. And that's why the 1980 team was, one of the greatest upsets in sport. Maybe probably still the greatest upset in sports history. But I think Shaq's right. They won the gold, big deal. I watched a lot of the game the other day on Saturday. I took France plus 16.5, so that cashed. That's one of the reasons why I watched. I figured that they would get a lot of home country calls, and they did. But it wasn't like the United States played great basketball. There was a lot. I mean, Steph Curry down the stretch, the last couple of games had to make a few threes. Okay. I mean, what are we supposed to be overly impressed with the United States men's basketball team for winning the gold medal?
Nope.
I'm just not. I'm certainly not impressed with Steve Kerr, the way he coached that team. So. Maybe I'm in the minority. I don't care. Gas Pump Guy says, good morning. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm very happy with the way the Bucks performed on Saturday, and it's a good day. Yeah, we'll get to all of that. The player who stood out in the NFL the preseason, postseason. Without a doubt, was Bo Nix, and he was just incredible for Denver. And yes, I understand the defenses, and I get all that. I understand it, but you cannot get away from the numbers he put up there and the way he moved: 15 to 21, 125 yards passing, a touchdown, 4 scoring drives for 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. And he's supposed to start Denver's next game. So over Jarrett Stidham.
I want to ask
Yeah, what?
quick question, because before we move on, I know you have your lineup there, but my thing is, Pete, if these guys, let's just say hypothetically, because we know what is it now? So we're in just about, well, we are in the middle of August, and then we get training camp here. It's going to start short again for the NBA season. If these guys start to complain, and I think people know exactly which ones would end up complaining and saying that, I shouldn't be starting in the beginning of the season because I just played my butt off for 4 weeks at the Olympics, which is only 2 weeks, but I know they had to practice beforehand. Does anybody get a pass just because you chose that you want to represent the country and go out?
Who's going to say that? Wait, I don't understand what you're saying. Who's going to say that they don't want to play for the NBA? I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about load. I don't think anybody on the Olympic team is going to say, I don't want to start the season. I'm tired. Is that what you're saying? You think it's going to happen?
Yeah.
I don't at all. I totally disagree. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of teams. You're going to have to be. I think Patrick Gilroy brought this up, and we'll talk about it again when they're at 9:30. That you're going to be the load management is going to come into play, at least for the better teams. And we could talk about Joel, but with the Celtics, with Drew Holiday, with Derek White, Jason Tatum. I do think, at least initially, I think you got to be a little bit more careful with those guys. They've played a lot of basketball, not just last year this past season when they won the championship and then gone to the Olympics. Go back. I mean, they played a lot of basketball, those guys, for the last couple of years. So I expect a little bit, load management to come into play, Angel. But I mean, if I can't see one of these players, unless they're hurt, coming out and saying, I want to pass for the start of the NBA. You really think that would happen?
No, as much as, again, love my Sixers, I can see it from Joel Embiid. I can see it from him. Just one of those things where, like, well, I just played in the Olympics this summer. I don't think I should be the one that should be starting. Maybe I come back in November, give my body a chance to heal, because
I would be stunned if that happened. I would be absolutely stunned if that happened. And there's no way. I mean, if it's a legitimate injury, if he's legitimately hurt, that's one thing.
a different story.
I can't see him going to coach and starting the season and say, I don't want to play. I would be shocked.
I hope not, but it's one of those weird feelings, because if you're injured, yes, I understand it. You want to let it heal. You want your guy to be back 100%. That I have absolutely no problem with if it's a legitimate injury. But it's just one of those feelings. I don't know why. It's just one of those feelings. Even with the addition of Paul George, I just think with Paul George, I think
and Maxey extension.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's gonna be a really good 1-2 combo, especially for the guys that are trying to get off the bench to make it a lot better. It's one of those things. It's just
okay.
We'll see.
It's an Angel feeling, just a tingle in Angel's loins about this. Yeah. But I would be shocked, because there's going to be a lot of people that I think that Philadelphia, the Knicks, the Villanova Knicks, and Milwaukee. I think the Celtics are not going to cakewalk to another championship or anything like that. I don't have delusions of grandeur. I know how hard it is to get there, and you got to remain reasonably healthy. So look, I think once again it'll be a 4-team race. I think in the East, those 4: Celtics, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and the Knicks. I think it'll be good. Now, you want to hope, and everybody else, but particularly Joel Embiid, you want him to show up big time in the postseason. That's what you want to get him to.
Yep, and that's what's driving me more nuts about the Sixers, because I know Jimmy Buckets, if he would have stayed here, could have been a bigger difference. It could have, but everything happens for a reason. We all know this. The only thing with Embiid is just I was for the guy. Don't get me wrong, and I'm still for the guy, but it's just, come playoff time, it's to the point of, when are you going to step up? Like you keep saying, the year you won the MVP, you should have been on fire and boat raced at least to to Eastern Conference Finals, but you didn't. And so I just hope now that he won the gold, and I'm happy for him. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy for the entire NBA basketball team that's out there, because someone that put out there too, one of the broadcasters over the weekend we're saying, how long do you guys think this run is going to happen as far as the NBA being a part of the Olympics? Because even 4 years from now, I love how like ESPN and everybody else is already saying like, early and bold expectations for 2028. That's 4 years from now. No one's thinking about 4 years.
Look, it doesn't matter. They can play on the freaking moon. They should win the gold medal. I'm not worried about the NBA in 4 years. I wasn't worried about them this time or usually any other time since they got away from the college kids. There's no reason why they should lose any games. It's the reason why it's the best league in the world, and it's not even close. Got the best players in the world playing here, and Shaq's right. You should never lose or even come close to losing. And like I said, Steve Kerr coached his team like a jackass, and it looks like he's never going to be coaching the Olympic team again. So that's good. I want to pivot to NFL news. And besides the preseason game, by the way, Patriots and Eagles this week, joint practices, right? And then we play each other Thursday night, 7 o'clock on the NFL Network. Hopefully we will see more. I will see more Drake May. I don't know how much the starters are going to play for Philly, but I would imagine a lot more than we saw from all these teams, mostly on the weekend. But the injuries are piling up. Braylon Trice, linebacker for the Falcons, third-round draft pick, an outside linebacker, Braylon Trice, on IR after he tore his ACL in the preseason game. These are all guys that are going to be out. Hollywood Brown for the Chiefs, a wide receiver against the Jaguars. Appearing in KC's opening drive, making an 11-yard catch, listed as questionable to return to a shoulder injury. And then Andy Reid gave further context to the injury post-game, saying he suffered a sternoclavicular joint dislocation, which is up here. And he's going to miss a lot of time. Drew Lock, quarterback of the Giants, backup. Expected to miss some time with a hip pointer and strained oblique, suffered late in the first quarter of that game against the Lions the other night. Daniel Jones and Tommy DeVito, the only two healthy quarterbacks that on the roster right now. Nate Wiggins, cornerback for the Ravens, left Friday night season against the Eagles. And I was watching this with a minor shoulder sprain, having 3 pass breakups in the first series. He left with the injury, making a tackle in the third. He's listed as day-to-day. Troy Fontenot, offensive tackle for the Steelers, had a minor MCL sprain, was the diagnosis for him. He left Friday's preseason game. Steelers' first-round pick was seen after the game with ice wrapped around his left knee. The Steelers don't believe the injury is serious. David Bell, wide receiver for the Browns, left the first half of Saturday's preseason game against the Packers. He had a quadricep injury. The Browns wide receiver, questionable to return, and he's fighting for playing time with Amari Cooper, who is still a Cleveland Brown, and he's fighting him with Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy as well. And then let's see, Marshawn Lloyd, running back for the Packers, rookie running back, picked up a hamstring injury in the third quarter of their game with the Browns. Ambry Thomas, cornerback for the 49ers, he limped off the field late in the first half of San Francisco's game against the Titans. And it's going to be out for a considerable amount of time. He was seen carted off to the locker room. Malik Neighbors, wide receiver for the Giants, and they can't afford to lose this guy. Foot sprain during practice on Sunday, and he's considered to have a minor ankle sprain. So there's your MASH unit report from the NFL here on the Pete Shepard Show. And again, I didn't pay attention. It was interesting yesterday, the thrilling end of the Cowboys game, a 13-12 win after Stetson Bennett had thrown 4 interceptions and then drives him down the field for the game winner. By the way, it was funny. I've never seen a line that everybody was on the Dallas Cowboys early in the morning yesterday for a preseason game was -3.5, and by kickoff it was up to 5.5. Crazy. So, but the Rams win and they cover. So
anybody, I wonder how many people actually listen in on Tom Brady's first broadcast.
I didn't really pay attention to it. I was watching it on my phone yesterday. I was watching some of the Red Sox. Then afterwards, I listened to it on my phone. I watched it on my phone. I didn't really pay attention to it, so I really couldn't tell you. I haven't seen anything on social media about it, but
me either. And I forgot all about it because I don't. I'm pretty sure there's not. Call me crazy, but there's not a Monday preseason game. Correct? Not that I can see. I'm
No,
pretty sure it
no,
was just about,
they start up again on Thursday. So
okay.
let's see.
All right.
Let me just double check here.
I know I didn't hear anybody.
No,
I know there was
no,
okay, because I know there was
no games tonight. No.
yeah, there was a thing on social media where he was like walking into the stadium. Obviously,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
didn't hear any of the broadcast. So
Hey, look, you can only get so excited about week 1 of the preseason. The big story was Jerry Jones and CeeDee Lamb, which we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to play the video from Get Up on Friday with the boys talking about it on ESPN, talking about the situation. And then Angel will go to Total Sports Prep and play what Jerry Jones said yesterday on NFL Network, just backtracking like ridiculous. Yeah, the next NFL preseason game is the Eagles at the Patriots. That's Thursday night. And then Friday, let's see. There's not even any games on Friday. On Saturday, let's see. We got a whole full slate on Saturday. And let's see. And you got 2 games on Sunday for this week. So, and none on next Monday either. So there you have it. All right. When we come back, we'll delve into what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys. Always fun with Jerry Jones. And we'll get the guys' take, like I said, from Friday, and then play Jerry Jones' reaction yesterday to CeeDee Lamb. Really, really interesting. Later on in the program at 8:15, Red Sox Report, sponsored by Moynihan Lumber. Rick Horrow with Olympic closing comments. A really cool video that we're going to play for at 8:30. 9:05, John Serenides, owner and editor of New England Football Journal. That covers the Patriots, covers Division I football. And John is great. John is one of those guys you can ask about, the second string linebacker from Idaho, and he'll tell you he's great. And Patrick Gilroy at 9:30 as well. We'll get his take and his thoughts, NBA insider, and we'll get his thoughts on the Olympic team as well. All part of the Pete Shepard Show here on a Back to School Monday for those of you in Florida and Lee County. Back to school, baby. All part of the Pete Shepard Show here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, IonTP.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jimmy the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu. Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Jardiniere.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class. Let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Pete Shepherd Show.
Welcome back. It is the Pete Shepherd Show. It is a back to school for some of you around the country. Here in Lee County in Florida, certainly that is the case. So enjoy. Parents, rejoice. Some of you as well. Thanks everybody for checking us on the code. I mean, I don't have kids. I can just go. But now the amenity pool here will be a lot less crowded. Because I go up middays, once in a while for a little bit, get some exercise, and it can be a little crowded sometimes, but not anymore, not until after 2 or 3 o'clock now, which is good. It's fine. Enjoy. Gotta make it. It's just it is amazing, and hope everybody is being careful and aware. I mean, traffic going to these schools. I mean, we didn't have parents. Very rarely in my day, we took school buses. Everybody did, or you walked. If you could walk to school, you'd walk to school, or you took school buses. We didn't have all these lines of parents dropping kids on and off, and and especially the horror stories of pickup lines are like brutal that I hear from parents with kids. And it doesn't matter, elementary school, kindergarten, high school, it really doesn't matter. Hopefully your kids are playing sports or doing extracurricular activities so you don't have to get there. If somebody gets out at 3 o'clock, I hear these parents get there like 1:45.
Oh, yeah.
To get in line. Is that the deal?
Yep. When I worked for the district, that was the fun part was if your child got out at 2:45, and I don't know how, listen, God bless, you would have a parent, no lie, would show up at about 12:45, car idling and running the entire time with AC on, and they're just either on their phone or with a book. I'm like, why on God's green earth? You just dropped off your child less than 3 hours ago, and now you're going to sit here for 2 hours just be the first person in line so you can make, beat feet out of the school. It was insane how many cars ended up showing up.
Yeah, I mean, I see the lines of some of these schools. I'm like, I mean, good God, it's like out of control. Now, I don't know. It's because the buses aren't available or what. I don't know. All I know is these lines for cars. There's got to be a reason. I'm not trying to bust balls or anything, but it just seems like I don't know, parents don't want their kids to take the bus.
No,
or I don't, or it's not available. If it's not available, then I completely understand.
That's okay.
But I don't know. But I don't understand if it's available. I mean, I took my first bus at 5 years old. Yeah, my parents were in a car down the street first couple of days, making sure as we had to walk to the bus stop. But I guess people are crazier nowadays and don't want their kids, God forbid, abducted or anything. I don't know.
No, so you kind of hit it there on the head. Is that what's happening is because of the shortage of the bus drivers every single year. They're so used to be if you lived, I think it was like less than a mile. It literally had to be less than a quarter mile. Then you would walk to school. But now, because of the shortage of the bus drivers, I think they moved it. You have to be further than 2 miles in order to be bused to the school. So a lot of these parents have no other choice. And if this year, in all honesty, if it doesn't get any better, they may even push it back to 3 miles. So for the same people who complain about, all these little odds and ends things, you can only bring up taxes, but so much in every county. I don't care, whether you're here in Florida, Carolinas, anywhere. You can only bring up the taxes so much. And at that point, if you keep telling people like, yes, we need to pay the bus drivers more money, you need to pay teachers more money, it also comes out of the people in communities that don't have kids, in school anymore. So how much, when you're retired, are you going to continue to push out of your own pocket in order to make all these things happen? So it's a lot of it has to come down to now because of logistics. It's just they don't have enough people to drive the buses, and therefore they got to consolidate the routes.
Yeah, and it's an important point that you make about driving the buses. There also is a massive shortage, at least of like 186 teachers shortage. I don't know if because people aren't applying or the wages are just not adequate enough, or the fact that you are even more of a babysitter now as a teacher than you're a babysitter as opposed to being a teacher. It's crazy. I saw a report last week, and there was a I think she was like in 6th grade. 6th or 7th grade. She said her Spanish teacher was teaching math and had no idea what she was doing. And she had to go home on YouTube and, update a lesson on her own. So that's what's going on in some of these school systems. And I'm sure it's like that all around the country, but man, it's unbelievable. And teachers should get better wages. So should bus drivers. They should. It's an enormous responsibility. You're trusting the lives of your kids. These people are responsible, and firsthand. So does Debbie. It's an incredible responsibility.
Yep.
You're responsible for all these young kids' lives, and you should be paid accordingly.
Yep. You should be. And one small little point too, when it comes to these teachers, as far as getting paid, I know that Carolinas has the last 3 years taken a lot of teachers out of Florida because of their pay. But also for teachers, the ones that deserve the pay are the ones who actually want to be teachers, not the ones who just show up to collect a freaking paycheck. Because everybody knows right down in Florida, most of these schools, the asylum is run by the kids. They're no longer run by the principals because you can't hurt the kids' feelings anymore. So the teachers who actually want to teach and do things the right way, those are the ones who are well deserving of a raise, not the ones that just want to show up to give you a curriculum. Because I've seen many of them. You show up to their classroom. I'm like, are you kidding? That's how you teach? If I'm a kid, I know you're not supposed to. I would have walked out because I would have thought, what am I coming to this class for? I'm basically teaching myself. What the hell is that person doing? But again, for the ones who deserve it, they should get paid.
Absolutely. Well, hope everybody, wish everybody a happy and healthy school year, and hopefully that the ones that do care, the teachers that do care, and I know most of them do. Molding and sculpting young minds without parent interference all the time. So that's the biggest thing. I would lose it. Thank God my parents were never that way, ever. If I was disciplined, or if anybody back was disciplined, you had it coming. Absolutely. It wasn't like, I need a mental day of rest because the teacher told me to stand in the corner. I got the tension and I couldn't handle it. Well, tough shit. I remember one of the worst days of my life was in 3rd grade. I had to stay after school, and I only lived like a mile and a half away from the school. And I was so upset because the teacher didn't think I finished my assignment, and I did. And this kid, Jimmy, that was sitting next to me, I found out later, took my assignment and copied it and never gave it back to me. And I went to the restroom. It was like right before to get on the bus, and she's like, "Peter, you don't have your." I was like, "I did it." And anyway, yada, yada, yada. I had to stay after school. I was so upset, for like an hour, and my mom had to come and pick me up. But I didn't get in trouble or anything because it was like, but I didn't need a mental day. I didn't need a mental rest day. I wanted to come in the next day and beat the shit out of Jimmy. That's what I wanted to do. Otis, my man, says, "Hey, Pete." Otis, what's up, brother?
Oh, man.
Hopefully you are staying hydrated. And I know Otis. Otis is not only is Otis works outside, does an amazing job with his business between, I don't know, roofs, stones, whatever. He does an amazing job. But this guy rides his bike like 10, 15 miles around Cape Coral. Everybody knows Otis in Lee County. Everybody.
Nice.
Thanks for checking in. Let's hope all is well. And thanks everybody for listening here on the Coastal Sports Network and on the video platform. Follow me at Twitter X at PShep326, Facebook SR1029 The Game, and SR1029thegame.com, where you can download the app. Ion TV, CSN Florida, Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. Call or text 727-858-6650. Hopefully, Otis, a couple weeks ago, last week, that where you live, you survived okay, the storm and all that stuff. I was down at Fort Myers Beach, Angel, on Saturday, and it wasn't overly crowded at all. It's what is the absolute shame. You cannot go in this water. And I'm talking all the way down from Bonita Beach all the way, to Atlantic High, up that way, past Diamond Head. You can't. It's so murky. You have to go like way out to get to any type of blue water. The churning and everything else. It didn't smell where I was, my part of Fort Myers Beach, but you can't go in that water. And even down, Captiva and Sanibel down here, it's just a damn shame that the water from the Caloosahatchee River being channeled down here, it really, really sucks. The beaches are beautiful and all that, but and some places just stink. You can't stay there. And I just can't believe for this beautiful area that we live in, and you cannot go into the water. It's gotten progressively worse as the 8 years now, going on 8 years I moved down here. Used to be able to go in all the time. The dolphins would come in and swim around you and everything else. The water was crystal blue, and now it is murky, crappy. It's full of I see people go in there. I think you're risking your life because it looks disgusting when you go in. It's gross, and there's certain parts that smell a lot worse than others. I just can't believe in this day and age that they can't do something about it. Speaking of the Caloosahatchee, so the Caloosahatchee Bridge is being back open down here today, partially one lane. And then I saw a thing, well, they can close like kind of anytime they want, somewhere between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. I don't know. But the Caloosahatchee Bridge is open partially anyway down here in Southwest Florida. So meanwhile, all right, Angel, let's get back to sports. But let's go. Let's I promise you, Jerry Jones reaction. We'll get to Jerry Jones' reaction yesterday. But on Friday, the Get Up guys weighed in on the latest exchange between Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb on social media as the contract talks continue. So you let me know, Angel, when you have that.
You wanted the ESPN version, correct?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The third story down in the first video. Yep.
See it up there?
I see it up there. Yes.
Okay. Here we go.
The Athletic's John Machota then tweeted that, saying, "I don't have an urgency to get it done." And moments later, CeeDee Lamb quote tweeted it with the letters LOL. This was a quote tweet. He quote tweeted the tweet saying LOL. And it's worth mentioning, Micah Parsons retweeted CeeDee Lamb's LOL.
We often say on this show, what is Jerry always doing? He's negotiating, right? He's not going to say, oh, yeah, we're desperate to get this done. That's going to hurt his negotiating stance. So he says no. And then they ask him why he said that, and he's like, I don't know. Like, that's what I'm supposed to say in this situation. And then CD quote tweets it and basically saying, I'm not buying that. Like, you're not going to scare me.
So this is just negotiating going on.
That's how I see it. Yeah, with Jerry, that's how I think he's always doing that. So, look, they've had conversations. They've gone back and forth. I still don't see a situation where this doesn't get done. But I think it is fair to wonder what's taking so long.
You know, Grady, to take the other side of that, when I sat in that seat and I was negotiating, I was very conscious of what my actions and words were going to resonate in the locker room. And if I'm a Dallas Cowboy not named CeeDee Lamb, I'm thinking like, if he's saying that about CeeDee Lamb, what's he thinking about me? That can really hurt morale. And I know that was not the intended consequence, but Jerry Jones should take a half a step back. You have a lot of good young players. They want to know when they're going to get taken care of. And if you're making fun of your best player, what do you think about me?
It's another example of the owner and general manager being the same person, creating a very unique set of circumstances. You were not the owner at any point while you were doing that. And so it does all play out kind of differently. All right, Mike, I need you to explain this to me. I remind anyone who doesn't know, Mike Tannenbaum was the general manager of 2 different NFL teams. And I've used this analogy while you were away. I used it a couple of times last week. I'm very bad at art, right? If you asked me to draw you a picture of an animal right now, and I did, you would never know what animal I was trying to draw. But when I was a kid, even I could color within the numbers, right? They would say, where you see a number 1, color it blue. Where you see a number 2, color it red. This is coloring within the numbers. All the receivers are getting deals. His draft class, he was in the same draft class as Justin Jefferson. He's been exactly as productive as any of them. Like, it is coloring within the numbers. Why is it taking this long?
I don't know. Take it a step further. It's costing them tens of millions of dollars. If they had done it in February, we all knew where the receiver market was going to go. Start with Devontae Smith, Amon-Ra St. Brown, on and on and on, all the way up. Tyreek Hill just got done. We know where Justin Jefferson is. It's at least $7 or $8 million a year, Green. So not only is it paint by the numbers, but on a salary cap system, when you want to get Parsons and Dak Prescott signed, every day it's costing you money. The sense of urgency they don't have has hurt them strategically.
The Athletics, John.
Yeah, Mike Tannenbaum, I usually don't agree with, but I think he nailed it right there, and the whole crew. It really is, and that was Friday. That was Friday. Now, if you can go to Total Sports Prep, Angel, and it's the third cut down. Jerry Jones on NFL Network yesterday talked about how I got in trouble the other day for saying signing CeeDee Lamb isn't urgent. So he kind of backtracks on that, even though he sort of doesn't.
I think I got in trouble a little the other day when I said, look, we're not urgent about CD. Well, no one appreciates CD being on the field any more than I do. But let me say this, he wouldn't be taking a snap out here today if he'd been here for all. You've got to use your head when you expose key players. That gives the other younger players a chance to do it. We know exactly what CD can do, and he's worked out with Dak. And so we wouldn't have him out here. It has really not anything to do with this.
Not the question.
Dak won't be out here this afternoon. And so the bottom line is, what it is no, there's not that urgency. Now, I understand completely the angst that's happening when you are anxious about and someone says anything about whether you're missed or not. Well, CD, you're missed, okay? But you're not missed out here competing, and it doesn't put any pressure any place on us. It's not pressure out here today and in practice.
And in practice.
You are so delusional. That's not the point. Of course, he wasn't going to play a lot in the preseason. That is not the point, Jerry. And I don't know if those guys pushed back on him or not. I would have, because I would have said, sorry, Mr. Jones, that we're not talking about that. It's exactly what the Get Up crew was talking about, what we've been talking about. You are digging yourself a bigger and bigger hole, Jerry Jones, by waiting and letting this fester. And I do think, the guys brought up a good point also about other guys in that locker room. How do they feel about it? If he's saying this about CeeDee Lamb, what are they saying about some of the un-CeeDee Lamb-like players that they have on that team? Let alone Dak Prescott. Yep. So I think it's a little bit of a mini mess over there in Dallas. And Jerry Jones is not helping himself at all. I mean, they got to get this done. I don't know why he's being so delusional about this, or if he's trying to make a statement, his own ego's getting in the way, whatever it is, he's screwing it up. It's not a good look for him or the Cowboys.
I can't tell you how long it's been since I've seen so many between memes and goofs and all kinds of, like, Instagram is loaded. We're not talking about like Dallas Cowboys season, with the fans and stuff, because of all this that's happening. I got to make it a point. I got to get freaking better on this, but there was one, and I as soon as I saw it, I should have sent it to you because again, we know that a lot of folks like to play with a lot of AI stuff and change the words. There was one with Brandon Ayuk and the GM with Lynch, and they're both at a press conference. It was funny as heck because it even took me a second. I'm like, wait a minute, is this for real? So, but after a while, you can start seeing like the phony little lips going back and forth, and it's if Lynch actually thought about what Brandon Ayuk was saying, what Brandon Ayuk was thinking, exactly what Lynch was saying. If I find I come across, I'll save it for tomorrow. But it was so funny, but it almost made you think, Jesus, these guys are really going at it at a press conference. But whoever did it was brilliant because it was really good. I'll have to find it and send it to you.
Yeah. And again, as far as Brandon Ayuk goes, there's still talk that now he may go back to the 49ers. So it's just, which that's going to be an interesting story. He hasn't gone anywhere, not to Pittsburgh or to Cleveland. Amari Cooper still out there with the Browns as well. All right, if we could continue NFL stuff on Total Sports Prep. Angel, I'm going to go to cut number 2. Here's from Fox 19 now in Cincinnati. Joey Burrow says the adrenaline rush will come in week 1, but it was nice that he played a little bit on Saturday.
How much of an adrenaline rush was it to just finally get on the field, a real snap for the first time since the
Not much of an adrenaline rush, I would say. Not like week 1 will be. I knew I wasn't playing a ton, but it was nice to get back out there.
Okay.
All right. They beat the Buccaneers won over the Bengals 17-14. Ho hum. Week 1. I don't put a lot of stock in wins and losses, but I told you if you bet the under in most of these games, you came out on top. Yeah, you really did. And in that game, you had Kyle for the Buccaneers. Trask was 12 of 20, 144 yards with an interception, no touchdowns. Joey Burrow, 5 of 7, 51 yards and a touchdown in that game for the Bengals. Meanwhile, if we scroll down, the man of the weekend, I think, who looked the most impressive. Let's go to the highlight of Denver's NFL Network. Denver's Bo Nix, a 1-yard touchdown pass to Marvin Mims Jr.
Nix throws, touchdown. Touchdown grab for Denver, Marvin Mims Jr. on the touchdown reception.
Yeah, boy, did he get rid of that ball in a hurry.
Yeah, thanks, NFL Network. And right after that, the next cut on Bo Nix on his performance yesterday.
Man of the day, Bo, my favorite part of today, it's 4th and 1 on the 5-yard line. I look in the huddle and you're smiling, looking as relaxed as ever. How comfortable did you feel out there today?
Very comfortable. I thought those 10 out there with me, we were going to get the job done, and that's what we did. But it's just fun getting out there and playing with the guys, playing against a different team, and just getting our feet wet a little bit for the season.
You've got 7 days until your first start in a Denver Broncos uniform. What do you think before watching film is the one thing you want to improve on before coming home to Denver?
I just always focusing on getting a little bit sharper and just executing whatever's called, and excited to be back home next week, and it's going to be a good week of practice.
Broncos country on social media was thrilled with you today. I'm wondering if you have any sort of message to them after your first game.
Yeah, big win for the crew today, big win for the team. Excited to be back, like I said, next week, and then always just ways to get better, always trying to find different ways that we can help the team out. But I thought it was a great win for us today, coming on the road, getting our first win over with, and excited to be back home.
Absolutely. Congrats on the win, Bo. Thanks for the time.
All right, Bo Nix, and again, great win. There's no such thing as a great win in the preseason, but I understand what he's saying. I like Bo Nix a lot. I mean, what a difference between Auburn Bo Nix, and Oregon Bo Nix. You talk about night and day. Absolutely, what Coach Lanning did for him out there. Holy Christ, amazing! The number 12 overall pick this past April, 15-21, 125 yards, rushed 3 times for 17 before leaving midway through the third quarter. Was replaced by former Jet starter Zach Wilson. He did okay. Also, Zach Wilson was 10 of 13 for 117 yards, and then Jarrett Stidham came in as well. Jarrett Stidham started the game, finished 4 of 7 with 57 yards, 1 interception. Next cut, Sean Payton, Denver head coach, pleased with the timing of passes getting thrown against the Colts and the Broncos 34-30 win.
Listen, the ball's out. I like the timing, the tempo of when we're releasing it. That was a big issue for us a year ago with the minus plays. We were towards the back half of the league, back I think 4th. So I was pleased with the timing of what we were doing, throwing the ball. That's important.
Yes, it is. It is important. Over on the Colts side, you had Ellinger, who was 5 or 6 for 80 yards. Bean, Slavis, 3 or 5. They played 5 quarterbacks in that game, including Joe Flacco, who was 3 or 5 for 28 yards. So Richardson was 2 or 4 for 25 yards. So about one of the more higher scoring games. You don't see it often. Denver 34 and Indianapolis 30. But most of the games went under the total. I told you it'd be about 65% plus. Pretty sure that was the case. Let me see. What else we got here? Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to hear from DeMeco Ryans, Anthony Richardson as well from the Colts. And this, actually, you know what, Angel? Let's play Anthony Richardson before we go to break. Anthony Richardson, couple cuts down from Sean Payton. Anthony Richardson was anxious to get the return to the field out of the way.
Anthony, just to start off, just what's it like to be back in a game setting after all this time?
It feels good. I was able to go through my routine today, put my pads on, get a few snaps out there. Everything felt good.
How much were you looking forward to it before? I mean, it's preseason, so not the same, but were you anxious to get out there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Throughout this whole process, I've been anxious to do a lot of things, just practice, put my helmet back on. So it's just taking it step by step, day by day. And, today we had a game, and I just felt good just being out there again.
Anthony Richardson, his second year at the University of Florida. Remember, he got hurt last year. Lots of high expectations. A lot of people think he went too high in the draft. But anyway, he's projected to be, when he's ready, to be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. All right, now we'll take a break. And then when we come back, we'll hear from other NFL camps as well after preseason and full preseason mode from Thursday up until yesterday. We'll have a lot of highlights and from the coaches and players. Coming up here on the Pete Shepherd Show, then next hour at 8:15, we'll have the Red Sox report by Moynihan Lumber at 8:30. Really cool. You're going to love it. Olympic video that Rick Horrow did. It's really fantastic. You're going to love it. At 9:05, John Serenides, owner and editor of New England Football Journal, will join me. And Patrick Kilroy at 9:30. All part of the Pete Shepherd Show here on a Monday on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu. And guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Jardiniere.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Shepard Show.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2 of the Pete Shepard Show here on a back-to-school Monday for some of the kids here in Lee County, most of them anyway. Collier County doesn't go to school. I don't know when they go to school. That's Staples and Stoic, a little south of me here. How about where you are, Angel in Tampa? The kids going back to school today, or is it next week or later this week?
Hillsborough went back to school today. Pasco County, I believe, should be tomorrow. Excuse me, tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Hernando County, which is 2 counties up. I believe they go back on Thursday. So everybody's getting ready to go back to here in Florida, which is obviously boistering hot, but you see a lot of kids down here with hoodies on, and that's because the inside of the schools, they keep it about 65-ish.
Good. Good. Michael says they start tomorrow in Collier. Okay, one day late. Yeah, and all the kids out there, God bless them at football practice. It's hot right now all over the country. So no matter where you are, I know it's hot, but man, football practice down here, some of these high school kids, God bless them. How they make it through. And football, obviously, it's high school football is a huge deal around the country, but it's a very big deal in Florida. It's a huge deal in Southwest Florida, up where Angel lives in Tampa. We got a lot of kids at these high schools that go on to play D1.
Yep,
phenomenal. It's not uncommon to see Kirby Smart fly in on a helicopter and land to try to recruit somebody around here.
It is amazing how many baseball players. There's tons in the area. And then the same way, like, excuse me, Lakeland has produced a lot of good football players as well. And even now in your neck of the woods by Fort Myers and Miami and stuff. So it's the talent that comes out of this area is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, IMG Academy and stuff. And so many kids around here in Southwest Florida that go on to play D1 football. And there's a lot of other athletes that go on to play. I'm not just singling out the D1, but there's a lot of athletes that go on to play D2, D3, community college. whatever it is. So it's unbelievable the talent that is in this state. Better than Texas, by the way. Sorry. Football, Florida, greater than football in Texas. Just saying. Just saying.
It's true.
God, my Texas friends, they hate hearing that. Tough. All right. Before we get to back to some camp stuff from the NFL, and then we'll have the Red Sox report coming up in a few minutes as well after the debacle of a series over the weekend with the Astros. So did you see this Aaron Rodgers story? 3 years after he told reporters he's been immunized against the COVID-19 virus, Rodgers said in a soon-to-be-published unauthorized biography that he should have been truthful about his status. He previously said the controversy had a dramatic impact on his public image. He told author Ian O'Connor that the primary reason he claimed he was immunized was the statement represented the crux of my appeal. Rodgers said in the book, if there's one thing I wish I could have gone different, it's that, because that's the only thing critics could hit me with. Well, that's not necessarily true either. In November 2021, Rodgers tested positive for COVID as an unvaccinated player, was sidelined for a minimum of 10 days. He had appealed to the NFL to have his homeopathic treatment regimen qualify him as vaccinated, and faced widespread criticism for his misleading remarks. He was turned down. 3 months earlier, a widely reported preseason news conference, Rodgers told reporters he'd been immunized and was heavily criticized by fans and much of the media. He later said on the Pat McAfee show that his research showed he was allergic to an ingredient, polyethylene glycol, or PEG, in the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines, and that he was concerned about reports of adverse medical reactions to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Look, I can understand that, because in those two vaccines, those particular ones, and I mean, my understanding is when you get foreign medication, all the ingredients are listed, or they can be listed for you, whatever. And this wasn't. So I mean, I kind of get it, but he's such a dink. It's hard to say. But I could do it again. I would have said in August, fuck the appeal. I'm just going to tell them I'm allergic to PEG. I'm not getting Johnson & Johnson. I'm not going to be vaxxed. Yeah, that's all he had to say. Rodgers told O'Connor the statement represented his appeal to the league. He said, quote, I had an immunization card from my holistic doctor. So I can't, when I hear holistic doctors, I have to go back to the Seinfeld episode again. I don't know if you remember when George goes to the holistic, thought he was having a heart attack earlier in the show. It was just basically nothing. Then he had a tonsillectomy. And then Kramer took him to his holistic healer. He's like, he puts his fingers in George's ears. He's like, you are, I think he goes, blows in his face and starts going like this and grabbing his face. And it's like, and says to Jerry, I think, you're having too much dairy. George to stop taking hot water showers. And then he gave him some kind of herbal tea. Remember, George's face turned into an eggplant, perfect. And then the ambulance guys were arguing over chuckles. I don't need that jelly crap. The ambulance. But so I hear holistic doctor, I go immediately to that. He said, I had an immunization card from my holistic doctor, which looked familiar. I wasn't trying to pawn it off as a vaccine, but I said, listen, here's my protocol. Here's what you can follow to look this up. And it was an ongoing appeal. So if I had just said I was unvaccinated, in the moment, there's no chance that the appeal would have been handled the exact same way. So other new reports in the book say new details about the near decade-long estrangement between Rodgers and his family, including interviews with the quarterback, his parents, his grandmother, and other relatives. Also, the story of Edward Rodgers. This is really interesting. Aaron's paternal grandfather, a decorated World War II combat pilot, completed 43 successful missions against Hitler's war machine before being shot down, captured, and beaten as a POW. On St. Patrick's Day in 1944, Rodgers saved his crew of 10 men in the burning, bullet-ridden B-24 by somehow flying it back to his base in Italy. Rodgers recalled that he was piloting his damaged plane, quote, all alone over Germany. It was the loneliest feeling in the world. That's unbelievable. Incredible story. Why Rodgers also was upset by Packers coach Mike McCarthy during the most devastating defeat, the 2014 NFC Championship game collapse at Seattle. Rodgers wanted to call 6 plays he had seen on film that seemed, quote, seemed indefensible. And when Dallas beat the Seahawks in the regular season, one veteran Packer player said Rodgers wanted those plays called over and over against Seattle, and McCarthy called only a few of them, one time each. He also says the then San Francisco 49ers head coach Mike Nolan, who drafted Alex Smith instead of Rodgers with the first overall pick in 2005, is still bothered that his offensive coordinator, McCarthy, benefited most from that decision. McCarthy had a lot to do with picking the other one, meaning Smith, in a quote, and in the end, he got the one, Rodgers, that he didn't pick, and it elevated his career. And finally, a look at the much-discussed text to ESPN senior NFL insider Adam Schefter, who was seeking confirmation that he was being dealt to the Jets in 2023. Rodgers told Schefter, quote, lose my number, good try, though, unquote. And later in the owners' meetings, Packers GM Brian Gutekunst, whose repeated messages to Rodgers had gone unreturned, told people that at least Adam got a response from him. Connor's book is going to be released next week. So interesting stuff there, as always, from the one and only Aaron Rodgers. Again, any thoughts on that? 727-858-6650, 727-858-6650. That is the number to call. Oh, I see Angel had to duck out for a second. What else we got here? Oh, by the way, for the Cowboys, you saw Trey Lance make his debut yesterday. Number 3 overall pick with the 49ers 3 years ago, and traded in August to the Cowboys for a 4th-round pick. Did not play a snap last year, but looked okay yesterday for what I saw. Looked okay for him as well. What else is going on? What is this text I'm getting? Oh, no. Leave me alone. All right, Angel Martinez is back in the house.
Holy moly! Sometimes you have to fly. The best thing I could say. Right.
You gotta go.
Yeah, I'd have been in tons of trouble.
I just finished watching. I finally got through Cobra Kai. I thought this was going to be the last season for Cobra Kai. It's not. It's going to be a 6th season. It's getting a little monotonous now. I mean, they brought back everybody they can bring back. They even brought back Barnes, Karate's bad boy from Karate Kid 3. Yeah, they brought him back. They're basically all friends now. And, Terry Silver is the one that ruined them all, and John Kreese is still out there. I really thought this was going to be the last season, but it's not.
I think that's what a lot of people thought as well, that it was supposed to have been the life.
No.
Goodness gracious. No. Even Rich thought that it was supposed to have been the last season as well, because I think he had mentioned that it was kind of getting old as far as like the storylines and stuff. But
yeah, it's a little, I fast forward through a lot of the dialogue. I just get to the important parts sometimes. But there was a scene in the last episode where they're all training, and one of the kids outside of Daniel's home, Miyagi-Do, they did some drill where you had to capture the flag type thing in the woods. And one of the students came flying back in to go to the porta potty. Somebody was in it, and he pooped his pants right there, let out a big fart, and then pooped his pants, and then got into the porta potty. But there's only so much, and in between Danny LaRusso and Johnny and Barnes had a fight in the last episode. Then they made up. John Kreese and his stuff in Korea and trying to train all these little a-hole kids to be a-holes. And the Terry Silver character was not, I don't even think he was in it this season, because they're busy all plotting to ruin him for what he did to everybody else. So there's going to be another season. I guess I'll watch it, or parts of it anyway. I'll just fast forward through some of the stuff. I find I do that more often now, sometimes. Not the Honor. Your Honor was great. That was an awesome series on Netflix. That was fantastic. There's definitely going to be a season 3 for that. I don't know how there can't be. That was fantastic with Bryan Cranston. So
I hope so, because the only thing I thought, Pete, was when he walked back towards, well, I guess for those who haven't watched it, I won't say what it is, but
it's been out enough. It's not like it came out yesterday. It's been out.
all right. Well, when he walked back into the prison, I just thought like, okay, where it's I don't want to say it was like kind of Breaking Badish at the very end, but I'd hope too, like it wouldn't be the end of it. I think because you got to figure, what's his name was shot, but then you see him open up his eyes. His own wife set him up with the dad, and then the dad gets arrested. So there's got to be a season 3.
I'm with you. I didn't like walking back into prison and I'm like, is he going? Because he gave up. He's walking back in like, take me. So it leaves the door open. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
they can do whatever they want. That's the beauty of that, and probably all depends on if he wants to do it, and if they offer him a whole bunch of money, then he will do it. All right, time now, Angel, if we can, to scroll up. We'll get back to football in a second, but scroll up to baseball. Do a little Red Sox report, which is brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out the complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly and North Reading, Massachusetts, and Plastow, New Hampshire. It was not a good day for the Red Sox right from the get-go. Boston starter James Paxton limped off the field, strained his calf. I thought he dislocated his knee. That's how bad it looked. But a strained right calf, making a quick move to cover first on the grounder in the opening inning. He never made it. He dropped, and that was it. He only threw like 9 pitches. In fact, I'll tell you exactly how many pitches he threw. 5 pitches. 4 of them for strikes. Meanwhile, it just right around the 3rd inning, the Astros in this whole series hit some bombs, but Alex Bregman in the top of the 5th inning hit this bomb, this 3-run shot, thanks to Space City Home Network.
Drills one deep to left field. Forget about it. 3-run bomb by Alex Bregman. Astros now in front 4-0. Breggy hits his 17th of the year.
Breggy bringing the heat to Fenway. Add to that OPS number we just showed you. Breggy bomb.
Back-to-back games with a home run. That close pitch at 2-2 goes Alex's way, and he makes it pay off.
That was a bomb over the Green Monster, into the parking lot, into the Cask and Flag and the great sports bar behind Fenway. That thing was a bomb. If we play cut number 3, next, Angel Alvarez followed that 3-run bomb with this bomb.
Longer than air yard on, sends one to center field. Well struck, Rafaela back. This ball's gone to straightaway center. Just when Breggy thought he hit a bomb, Jordan crushes one to center. Back to back big flies, and the Astros lead it 5-0.
Unbelievable. I mean, deepest part of Fenway, just bombs all day, all series for the Houston Astros. You don't have to play the cut, but Jeremy Pena had a 2-run shot in the top of the 6th and made it 10-0. The Astros go on to beat the Red Sox by a score of 10-2. Hunter Brown struck out 9 and 5 1/3, allowed just 2 runs. What else we got here for numbers? Pena's drive also cleared the monster seats, coming in a 4-run 6th that made it 10-0. Reliever Lucas Sims, 1-6, was the loser after Bernardino's wild pitch allowed a runner that he left to score as well. For the Red Sox, Rafael Devers had the day off yesterday. He'd been grinding through it, Cora said. It makes sense, and hopefully Monday he'll be back. Trevor Story still expected to take batting practice on the field Monday and works back from shoulder surgery. Red Sox begin Brian Bayo, who's 10-5 with a 5.16, would come off the paternity list and make his start tonight when the Red Sox begin a 3-game series against the Texas Rangers. And Tyler Mahle will go for the Rangers. He's 0-1 with a 1.8 ERA. And if you're looking right now at the standings in Major League Baseball, the Red Sox are now 7.5 games behind the Yankees. And as far as the wild card goes for the Sox, they are now a half a game behind Seattle. They are 3 games out of that final playoff spot. Kansas City Royals had a rare Sunday off yesterday. Weird in the schedule. Weird. That's my Johnny Carson. Weird. So they're 3 in back of Kansas City and 3.5 in back of Minnesota. So they're still in it, but man, the pitching staff is so depleted right now. It's crazy. Else around Major League Baseball yesterday, the Angels over Washington 6-4. That was early on, 11:30 in the morning. Yankees over Texas 8-7. Rangers are really, really struggling, so the Red Sox may catch them at the right time, try to get back on track. Oakland doubled up Toronto 8-4. Tampa Bay nipped Baltimore 2-1. Bad loss for the Orioles there. Miami over San Diego 7-6. Cincinnati over Milwaukee in 10 by a score of 4-3. Cleveland got by Minnesota 5-3. Colorado over Atlanta 9-8. Detroit over San Francisco 5-4. Arizona over your Philadelphia Phillies yesterday by a score of 12-5. And in 10 innings, the Dodgers beat Pittsburgh by a score of 6-5 there. Seattle last night clobbered the Mets. Had some shekels on Seattle. They win easily by a score of 12-1. That was the ESPN game last night because that heated rivalry, Seattle Mets. You know, people are always talking about, can't wait for the Mets to play Seattle on national TV on Sunday night. I'm being facetious. So there is your MLB rundown. All right, Angel, if we could, we're going to get to Rick Horrow, our sports business guru, the professor as well, at the bottom of the hour after the break with awesome stuff. And I'll reintroduce him when we come back from the break, Angel, at the bottom. But a great, it's about a 15-minute video of closing, of recap of him at the Olympics. It's really, really cool. You're really going to enjoy it. But if we could, Angel, get back to the NFL. Now I have to scroll up and find my place. Scrolling. Come on. See, I don't have a mouse pad in here because the table is really good, but sometimes it sticks. Behind the scenes nonsense. Okay. If we could continue, let's see. Second page, first cut. Sean McVay. This is pretty cool. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try to find that video of that. Because it's Sean McVay on the sidelines providing color commentary for the Rams during the game. And I want you to see the video because the audio won't do it justice. Okay, but here's Sean McVay at the end. He thought the Cowboys missed their field goal attempt in the second quarter.
You can't do any better than that, can you?
No, you cannot.
I think he missed that.
Oh,
man, that looked.
He got it.
Well, you got a better angle than me, jerk.
Hey, we love you too.
Hey,
thank you, Sean
appreciate
McVay.
you guys. Always fun doing it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, here's the game-winning 6-yard touchdown pass. Stetson Bennett. It's the next cut down.
To tie the game, this is it. Stetson Bennett. Rolling out to the left. Bennett slings it back in the end zone. Touchdown!
All right, playmaker.
Miller, Forrestal, and we are tied with 4 seconds to go.
That's a great second reaction play by Bennett.
We talked about it. You had your opportunity. Go win the game.
Yeah.
You've made some mistakes. You've had some bad moments.
Look at this.
But you know what? In the biggest moment, can you step up and do something for your football team? He did it right there.
Phenomenal field, keeping his eyes downfield, phenomenal job, flipping his hips, great sidearm throw. That's the guy we saw in college.
Absolutely.
And
the extra point to give the Rams the lead. 4 seconds on the clock. The rookie Joshua Carty. This is for the win. Right through the uprights. 13-12 with 4 seconds left. How about that?
All right, Angel, it's my bad. I should have had you go to if you go on my Twitter page and scroll down, it's like the 4th story down. It's under awful announcing after throwing 4 interceptions. Here's how it really looks. Stetson Bennett, who looked awful until this last drive. But here it is. Here's everything and how it transpired in the video. This is much better. And I'm sorry, I just went with the audio there. That's my bad. I forgot I had the video. But this is get a much better feel. And I don't know how Dallas fans feel about it today, but they were a 3.5-point favorite. Went to 5.5 by kickoff.
Got it.
But yet another under. So whenever you have that, Angel.
to tie the game. This is it. Stetson Bennett.
Oh, he had to tell
rolling out to the left. Bennett slings it back in the end zone. Touchdown!
All right, playmaker.
Miller, Forrestal, and we are tied with 4 seconds to go.
That's a great second reaction play by Bennett.
We talked about it. You had your opportunity. Go win the game.
Yeah.
You've made some mistakes. You've had some bad moments.
Look at this.
But you know what? In the biggest moment, can you step up and do something for your football team? He did it right there.
Phenomenal field. Keeping his eyes downfield. Phenomenal job. Flipping his hips. Great sidearm throw. That's the guy we saw in college.
Absolutely. And now, the extra point to give the Rams the lead. 4 seconds on the clock. The rookie Joshua Carty. This is for the win. Right through the uprights. 13-12 with 4 seconds left. How about that?
Your first game winner, Josh.
After throwing 4 picks, after throwing a fifth that got called back on a Cowboys penalty, Stetson Bennett drives him down the field, and it's all smiles there on the Rams sideline.
We're going to get Sean back on here. He called us bad luck.
Yeah.
Look at this right here.
Called me a jerk.
Come on. Game-winning drive. Let's go, baby.
And he's in a great mood now. He's got a happy ending.
And you know what?
He'd love us now.
I feel good for that guy right there.
I do too.
I feel good for Stetson
He needed
Bennett
that.
right
Live
there.
and learn.
Yeah, Andrew Siciliano, Mina Kimes, and I forget who else was doing color for the game yesterday. Oh, it was Brady. Yeah, it was Brady that was there. That didn't sound like him.
No, it didn't. But I got another one here. You talked about the the one with Sean McVay, the color commentary.
Yes.
Here we go.
Tighten up in the red area. Quick game. They're cutting up front. Nice job right there. Cam Kitchens, you bobble the
There he
slant,
is.
ends up getting the breakup. He had a really good practice against these guys the other day. You can see he's getting more and more comfortable. Good range coming out of the deep part of the field. This is an excellent job by him being able to trigger, make a play on the slant. That's big time right there by a quarter safety.
And Sean, every time we look up, whether it's here or at camp, he is making a play.
He is, and he's getting more and more comfortable. He was, playing a lot in just the post at Miami, and we're asking him to do some different things, but he's a smart, conscientious guy. I love working with him, and he's getting better and better.
Tyler Davis got home again.
He's big.
Yep. He seems like a guy, Sean, to me, that plays faster when he gets on the grass. Like, forget his times, forget all that. When he's playing football and just seeing what he sees and reacting, his speed seemed totally different on the football field.
Couldn't be more right. And that's the one thing you can never, simulate is when you really play tackle football, the physicality that shows up with a lot of these young guys that we like so much. And so that's, I think that's on display. You just said it exactly right. I totally agree. Big
11th
stop
play of the
right
drive here. See if they got off the field. 3rd and 10.
Win right here. Yeah, there it is.
Lance pressured. No flag.
Hummel's in position. Good job. Decline that, and we'll make them kick the field goal. That's a heck of a job by them tightening up. You guys aren't as bad luck after all.
Hey, yeah.
There it is.
We're trying to stay positive here.
Hey, great rush by Nick Hampton, knocking the left tackle into the quarterback, pressuring him, making him feel that, and he has to get the ball out of his hand.
That is awesome. That's a good stop right there. Big 3 downs after they were kind of driving the ball down the field. That's a huge deal.
Sean, give me a...
Yeah, that's great stuff, Angel. I hope when the Patriots host your Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday night, we get more of that, whether it's from Gerard Mayo or Sirianni. I love that stuff. That is great. I know you can't do that during the regular season, but man, that is so cool to watch coaches break down a play as it's actually happening. I love that stuff.
I would actually love to see it during the regular season. Why not? Let them do freaking double duty. I know, whatever. They don't want to give away the farm, stuff like that, but why not?
Well, because they would take their concentration away from the rest. I agree with you. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. But meanwhile, before we go to break, for the best articles and audio, only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. The staff combs through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. The sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial with Total Sports Prep, contact them at info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep. The name says it all. All right, quick break. When we come back, I'll have a couple of thoughts, and then we will show you this awesome video from Rick Horrow in France at the Olympics. You're going to absolutely love it. It encapsulates all the kaleidoscope of erotic images that Rick Horrow, the sports professor, will bring you. All part of the Pete Shepard Show on this Erotic Monday here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Chicken and Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak are Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Shepherd Show.
Back here on the Pete Shepherd Show on a Monday. It's back to Monday here for those kids in Lee County in Florida. And computer number 2, laptop number 2, has just sort of sorted out on me, so I have to refresh. It has nothing to do with laptop number 1, which is this one, which is the main, what we do the show here on. Thank God for that.
I told you, just catch you shake it.
How many people know what an Etch-a-Sketch is? You think about that. Remember, there were small Etch-a-Sketches. There were big Etch-a-Sketches. We all had them. If I could have made a cube, I thought it was pretty cool. But I've seen Etch-a-Sketch people, the kids back in the day, some of them, a couple of my friends, one went on to be an architect. He was unbelievable at it. I just didn't have the patience for it. But I don't know how good you were at it. Some of these kids would put together some unbelievable Etch-a-Sketches.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. Fantastic stuff. I never really had the patience for it. But anyway, I was a Monopoly guy. I played chess, 4th grade chess champion, Drum Rock Elementary School, Angel. That was a big deal. Got a whole nice chess set and a little medal.
No, Monopoly was good, but I can the Etch-a-Sketch. It's amazing how so many people used to like what they used to draw, and you couldn't. Once you did it, you had to like leave it flat because you accidentally bumped it. That whole work went to absolute crap. But
God, yeah.
Because you were screwed. One little just boop, and like, oh, are you freaking kidding? That's when you used to lose your crap as a kid. Why did you do it?
Yeah, I'm telling you. I had Etch-a-Sketch. We had all the board games. Used to play all of them. And I had a little air hockey, a table air hockey, a little small, like you sat and played. That was big back in the day. I had the Fonzie pinball machine. Do you remember the Fonzie pinball machine?
Yeah.
It was a little cheesy, but nevertheless was a pinball machine. I had that when I was a kid. Pivot Pool, I loved Pivot Pool.
Pivot Pool was good.
And I used to make a game with Pivot Pool, and I'd line up either superheroes or the Army guys. Remember the Army guys we get? You know, I'd line up the superheroes from the Justice League and the Army guys, and I'd put a little ramp on Pivot Pool, and I'd shoot the balls off the ramp on Pivot Pool in my playroom, try to knock down as many people as I could. You know, I keep a little scorecard for myself. But those are the things we used to amuse ourselves on a rainy day, you know, and you can't get outside, because I was outside playing baseball 99% of the time when I was a kid growing up.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
What was the I know it's obviously it's a bigger platform, but the pool as in billiards, what was the one where it had, remember you had it had the bumpers in the middle and the 2 bumpers on either side, but it had where you had to go in?
Yeah, I forget the name. It might be just as simple as bumper pool. I forget. I forget what that was, but we used to make up all little games. I remember my parents got me an erector set once. That didn't do it for me. You know, that didn't do it for me.
When you had the paper football, when you just fold it up into a triangle and you tap it across.
Oh, yeah, and you get in trouble at school playing that. And you have your friend at lunch. That was big. That was a big lunch game.
Yep.
Doing
that
all
was great
stuff. Yeah, you found ways to amuse yourself. Nowadays, I mean, I can amuse myself like, oh, we got a little rubber pencil pen thing going. Anyway, Rick says, waking up today to know that Phillies got rocked. Have to head out for blood work, and that damn barber took off nearly all my hair. Can't wait for Tuesday.
Oh,
yeah, well,
no.
I mean, but the Phillies are playing good baseball. It wasn't their day yesterday. Well, it wasn't that day yesterday, losing to Arizona. All right, promise you, Rick Horrow. Coming up at the top of the hour, John Sereniti is going to join me. He is fantastic. We love college football and NFL football. You're going to love John, the owner of New England Football Journal. And then Patrick Gilroy at 9:30. But Rick Horrow, our sports business guru and the sports professor, here's an awesome kind of a recap video of everything that went on in France at the Olympics. Take it away, Mr. Horrow.
Whoa, hang on. Let me squeeze it on back and pow.
Sports professor Rick Horrow into the $1.3 trillion business of sports, and you're on the record with a special Olympic podcast.
Let me flip it back, and then we'll hopefully.
Gallery said she could see it. Peter Gallery said she could see it, but there we go. I always feel comfortable. Okay, there we go, Angel. Thank you, sir.
All righty.
Sports professor Rick Horrow into the $1.3 trillion business of sports, and you're on the record with a special Olympic podcast. It has been a busy 2 weeks, and for me, a busy week. 3 billion television watchers, 350,000 TV hours, 35 venues, 20,000 journalists, 45,000 volunteers, and a net economic impact of over 11 billion euros. Parisians sure been busy. And for 6 days, 9 events, 9 venues, I was part of it. From the Champs-Élysées and the view of the Arc de Triomphe to the Eiffel Tower and everything in between, I had the ability to cover many events that are familiar to all of us, gymnastics and Simone Biles' gold, swimming, Katie Ledecky's record-setting performances, sportsmanship that people couldn't understand in normal team sports, but I could, the Eiffel Tower, and an incredible almost dead heat 100 at Stade de France, and again, everything in between. What an incredible series of events. So a special On the Record podcast, the best of in 13 individual segments from my beginning to my end. Here it is now. Sports professor Rick Horrow into the $1.3 trillion business of sports. Special Olympic specials all the way through the next week and a half or so. And the beginning is the numbers. About 15.3 million tourists expected to be here during the Olympiad and the Paralympics. About 5.5 million French coming to Paris. Obviously, the 3 major airports at overload. They've had 15 successful dry runs, security, logistics as well. 115,000 bags. Hopefully they don't lose them. And obviously, it's not just the bags. How about the javelins and the canoes and the kayaks? We don't bring them, but if an Olympic athlete doesn't have it, it's death to him as far as competition is concerned. Bottom line is Paris is ready in all material contexts from an incredible opening ceremony. Most of these athletes leave 24 hours after the closing ceremony or before, ready for the onslaught. 20,000 media and VIPs as well add to the mix. Sports professor Rick Horrow, Sports News Minute, more Olympic updates follow. Sports professor Rick Horrow into the $1.3 trillion business of sports, special Olympic edition number 2. Well, I wasn't going to do anything about transportation, but this is something you couldn't pass up. You know, gridlock getting to Olympics, G7, an Uber Lyft type company solves that problem. They've been in existence for 50 years or more. Europe's largest transportation taxi company, employing 15,000 people. But get this, they have a deal with the city of Paris where they can use the streets that Olympic officials and police and fire and other important people can use to get to venues. I am going now to the North Paris Arena for boxing. We'll talk about that later. And an hour and 10-minute trip by normal transportation, not the subway, it doesn't go that far out, will take about 30 minutes. So my driver says, yeah, he says 30 minutes. We'll have to see. We're halfway through it. The bottom line is, when 1896, when the Olympics started again, this company was there driving deals. No, not then, but certainly now. It's a new slant on transportation, another convenient aspect of these games. Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Sports News Minute, Special Olympic Edition. Sports Professor Rick Horrow inside the $1.3 trillion business of sports. Your Sports News Minute. The boxing venue, North Paris Arena, had a little issue about completing the transit line here, but transportation not a problem at all. By the way, about 50% women, 50% men as far as participation in all of the events, and boxing is exactly the same. If you look at the card today, 8 women's events, 2 men's events. And the bottom line of all of this is that it's not just a special event here, but guess where the finals are for these? At Roland Garros, which is amazing when you think about it. So the finals of this event will be held at the Tennis Center. Boxing, diversity, Olympics, all the same. Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Sports News Minute, Special Olympic Edition. Professor Rick Horrow inside the $1.3 trillion business of sports, Special Olympic Sports Report. How about this view? Yeah, the Eiffel Tower right behind. By the way, built in 1887 for the 1889 World's Fair. It's been iconic and a tourist attraction ever since. But now, beach volleyball. It was a demo sport in 92, Barcelona, 96 in Atlanta. First time it was played. In Jones Beach, kind of comment on not having a lot of sand in Atlanta. We're very successful. Bondi Beach in 2000, Australia, it took off. Became the fastest growing sport in the world, and it continues to be similar to that. Numbers rivaled only by pickleball and badminton. We talked about that earlier. By the way, it's growing by leaps and bounds. How do we know that? Industry reports say net sales are expected a 7% compound annual growth rate, at least through 2031. 7 companies. That's how we know. We also know because we love to watch it. Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Sports News Minute, Special Olympic Edition. Sports Professor Rick Horrow inside the $1.3 trillion business of sports. Olympic Report. Number 5, the swimming venue, La Défense Arena. It's an example of the Parisian frugality. You know, Beijing spent $39 billion on infrastructure for their games. Sochi, about $50 billion, still costing Russians about $1 billion a year, they say. Paris, about $8.5 billion. About $4 billion of that is infrastructure. But because of the TV rights fees and the revenues, they're going to make a lot of it back. And one of the reasons is buildings like this. It's a concert hall, 15,000 people, and Taylor Swift's last concert was here on May 12th. They cleared this place out, was going to have gymnastics here, realized they couldn't put it here, scrambled to get a pool in here, and the rest is history. A great swimming venue and a concert hall. Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Special Olympic Update, Sports News Minute.
All right, let's come back now, Angel, with that.
Sports
great stuff. Great stuff, Angel, and great stuff by Rick Horrow. That was pretty cool. Lots of stuff there, giving you the. Especially love the Uber story.
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal. Before I go to break, there's a couple of funny cuts. Let's not get serious. There's a couple things I've just tweeted out, Angel. If you go a couple down, just 2 now under ML Football, I have not heard this yet. This is an Indianapolis Colts fan made some sort of a hype song before yesterday's preseason game and for the season. And I have a feeling this is not going to be good, but it will be funny and entertaining, which is all I care about. You see what I'm talking about, Angel? It's two down.
Yep.
So that's a Colts fan with a hype song before their preseason ends up being the preseason loss. But go ahead.
That's it?
I see it. I have not heard this yet.
This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our Colts. whether win or lose, we love them. For the shoe, beat the Broncos. Let's show them who the real horse is. This is our team. Go Colts!
Oh my God. Horse's ass. That is awful.
Wow.
That is awful.
Hey, I got to play it again. Sorry, because at the end.
Play it again.
This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our Colts. Whether win or lose, we love them. For the shoe, beat the Broncos. Let's show them who the real horse is. This is our team. Go Colts!
Hear that sound, Angel? It's all the dogs in the neighborhood howling. Holy shit, that is awful. Absolutely awful. Let me see some of the comments on Twitter about it. Logan says, we've known about this man since the last season. I'd request to be released if I was a Colts player. Says one Twitter person. One Twitter, I've seen all I need to. The Colts are winning the whole thing. Fatty Patty on Twitter says, I hope this man gets everything he wants in life. Somebody said, I told Pat McAfee to memorize this by tomorrow. Maybe today. Saucy says, 0-17 coming. Kev said, y'all just heard about Seth. He does this for every game. I didn't know that. That's the first I've heard of it.
Me too. Oh, that's great.
Oh, my God.
Holy moly.
Yeah, you get the idea. Another funny one is the first cut under the show, Angel, from Trisha Whitaker. Trish covers. She does a great job. She's a sideline reporter for the Tampa Bay Rays on Bally Sports, and she does Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV as well. Now, I don't know why, when you see this, I don't understand why she isn't closer or what happened here. But Trish had to, she was a cross-country runner in high school. She had a long way to go for this post-game interview. Check out this video.
Oh, come on. You guys have to do that. That isn't.
I don't know if they're going to show it.
I'm pretty sure the editing put this in slow motion. I run faster than that, okay? I run faster than that.
I hope they get it to where you stop.
And I was in heels and trying to, and then I dropped my hairspray. Please say you got that.
I'm hoping that you go back to somebody.
Yeah, I was waving
high
at
heels
Melanie
on,
Newman, Orioles play-by-play reporter. Oh, my Atlanta. All right. Rays Live, the post-game show on Bally Sports is presented. This hairspray presented by Advent Health, official champion of the
hairspray.
Learn more at adventhealth.com. By Estrella Insurance, call 1-800-CAR Insurance today. And by GTE Financial. The Rays won today. I did not.
What's your 4-0 time?
I don't want to know. It's really showing me that I have got to work. I got to get on the treadmill.
Could you beat Springs and his son?
You know what, Angel? She's not huffing and puffing.
No, she's not. But I'm wondering though, she must have, because she walked into the left field gate portion where all the tables and stands are there. So I wonder, it seemed like she came all the way across from the bullpen, ran all the way down to home plate and over to left field. But holy moly, what a haul!
Yeah, I don't know why she was so far away. Or maybe they switched the location for the post-game interviews. It seemed that way, or she got a late start. But thank God she got her hairspray back, but she dropped it running along.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
So that's the kind of stuff you're going to get on this show that you're not going to get anywhere else. Anything that I find funny, you're going to get it. Speaking of funny, or not so funny, let's scroll down another three. Now, this is back to Jerry Jones and CeeDee Lamb. This was earlier today on Get Up, as far as, again, Jerry Jones and CeeDee Lamb holding out. Darren Orlovsky and company talking about it just a little while ago, about an hour ago this morning. So here's another take on Jerry Jones.
Graz, you say he knows the offense and everything will be fine when he comes back. I disagree. You know, when these premier athletes miss time in training camp, usually there's something attached to either their performance or their health that isn't on par with the expectations. The Cowboys play a game in like 3 weeks or something like that, the ones that matter. This is valuable time for CD just to get into regular, hey, I'm ready to go football shape, no matter how much you train. This team plays the Cleveland Browns in week 1. They're more than likely going to be starting a rookie left tackle, going against Myles Garrett. That is going to be an unbelievably difficult task with CeeDee Lamb, let alone without it. No receiver in football has more yards when a quarterback's pressured over the last 2 seasons than CeeDee Lamb. You're talking Cleveland week 1. You're talking New Orleans week 2. You're talking Baltimore week 3. Talking the Giants with the new addition of Brian Burns week 4. Pittsburgh week 5. This gets really dicey for the Dallas Cowboys. For a team that's on the verge or the fringe, they better get this dude in camp, and they better get him firing on all cylinders when he comes back quickly, or this season can start downhill fast for the Cowboys.
Oh, the Eagles fans like Angel love hearing that.
Sure do.
Giants fans too. But we shall see. That is a bit of a mess, and it doesn't appear to be getting any better. And every time Jerry Jones opens his mouth, it gets worse. We shall see. All right, last one before we go to break. Another funny cut. I want to show you, kind of a little violent, but it's right under that. Angel, Barstool Sports. This happened on Saturday night, I believe. White Sox fans, more fans got more hits than the team. This gets ugly. He's out on the concourse, by the way. So bad. Fans just throwing haymakers, grabbing skinny guys hitting fat guys. And of course, you have the woman with the sales shirt on, trying to film the whole thing. He gets grabbed. Well, that's one for the whole thing. Deadpool versus Wolverine. Except much less level.
Well, you get your money's worth on the South Side.
Bad Leroy Brown.
Wow.
Oh, man. All right. And with that, we're going to take you to break here. And when we come back on the other side, John Serenides used to be called Doc Football, which I miss. But anyway, the Greek freak of nature, or the Greek freak of football, I should say. John Serenides is going to join me next year on the Pete Shepherd Show right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Chicken and Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it Gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay. Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Shepherd Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Welcome back. It's hour number 3, third and final hour here of the Pete Shepherd Show here on a Monday. It's a back-to-school Monday for a lot of kids here in Lee County and Southwest Florida, Collier County. And people in Naples and down yonder will go back to school tomorrow. Meanwhile, thanks everybody for checking out the show, the Coastal Sports Network video platform. Follow me at PShep326 on Twitter X, on Facebook at SR1029 The Game, and also SR1029thegame.com where you can download the app. Angel will have more on that in a minute. Ion TV, we are powered by Powerful Jedi. Ion Tampa Bay is. CSN Florida, Rumble, LinkedIn, Spotify, YouTube, and Twitch. You can always call or text the show as well. 727-858-6650. Before John Serenides comes on, what else we got coming up today, Angel? Across this fine network of ours and with the webpage that you have built up, it's phenomenal.
Later on today will be Q, the drive with Q. That'll be from 3 to 5 p.m. Today, there will be no Martinez coming out. This is not a joke because I do have an appointment for today that I have to make sure that I make. Although there might be a 1-hour special. Who knows? Just stay tuned.
Okay.
But no, yeah, I do have an appointment, so I got to make sure to make it out there on time.
Gotcha.
For sure. But so that's there. Some other stuff that I'm still working on. So it's just another crazy busy Monday. What is it? What was the old song? Just another manic Monday. That's pretty much
that
today.
Or Monday.
Or that one too.
And trust that day. I should have been a singer.
Should have been Mr. Calling.
Peanut galleries rolling our eyes in the room, probably.
No, other than that, there's thanks to a lot of folks who are visiting the website for sure. We do appreciate it. As always, the love and support. We can't thank you guys enough. Don't forget, you can download the app directly from the website. Right on the landing homepage, you guys can download it from there. Then you guys can go over to the Sports Radio tab, and you guys can see the show on demand on what I call the instant replay. After the shows are over, you can go back through. So Pete Shepard Show will be up there after the show is over, along with the audio portion of it. And you guys can, of course, get the audio anywhere you get your audio from any platform, Amazon, Spotify, Amazon Music, anywhere and everywhere you can get your stuff from is where we post up the shows. So you guys don't ever miss a thing. So can't thank you guys enough for the support. Just don't forget to please download the app so you won't miss a thing, because if you're at home, you got to hit the road. You can watch the show live and then jump in your car, put it on the Android or the CarPlay on the radio player, which is 100% all digital. And then once you get to where you're going to, maybe you switch it back over to live shows. So either way, you can't miss it. You can also text and call the show from there as well, directly from the app. And anything that's later breaking that changes, you guys can get a push notification. And no, I do not inundate. I think I've only sent actually maybe 2 at max since after recreating the app. So, but we thank you guys very much for visiting. If anything, at least visiting the website. And we're getting a lot of folks overseas who are listening and watching the show, which is absolutely fantastic. So thank you those who live on the eastern side of the world.
India, hello. Kazakhstan, hello. I mean, seriously, we were like all over the world.
Yeah.
By the way, how could I not have forgotten one of the classic Monday songs of all time by Jimmy Buffett? Come Monday. Come Monday, it'll be all right.
Yep.
Come Monday, I'm holding you tight. It's been 4 lonely days. Oh, damn, I'm good. Shit.
What's it like, Step Brothers? You have the voice of an angel.
It's been 4 lonely days in the brown LAs. Gee, what was he talking about there? And I just want you back by my side.
Exactly.
I have good octave range.
Mine's so good the dogs can even stand it.
Oh, God. All right. Hopefully, John Serenini is going to join us here.
There he is.
I think he is trying to connect as we speak. The one and only. Let me see. There he is. Oh, my goodness. Hang on. I got to block something down here on computer number 2 before we go to laptop number 1. But joining us right now, one of my favorite people on the planet. Haven't talked to him on the while. After Harry Aganis, the great Harry Aganis, the second most famous Greek American in New England is John Serenides. Used to be Doc Football, now he's just John Serenides. The owner or co-owner or owner of and editor of New England Football Journal, covers the Patriots, D1 football, high school football, and just an all-around good guy. John.
Pete, good morning, my friend. Good to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing? It's a beautiful day up there today.
It is. We're trying to get as many of them in as we can until the fall rolls around. And then, as you well know, my friend, it all goes downhill from there. So, yeah, it's supposed to be a beautiful week this week, upper 70s, low 80s. You know, we'll take it, but we know it's not going to last very long.
Oh, no question. All right, let's get right into it. First of all, how is your family? You're beautiful. God, I feel like it was yesterday when your little girl was born. I mean, Bond. See, that comes out sometimes. How's everybody doing?
Good. You know, she just turned 7 last month, and
what?
Yeah, she just turned 7, going into 2nd grade. We also got a dog last week, so we were planning on getting one when she was 8 or 9, but I caved, and I think it was time. She's an only child, so we ended up getting her a pup. So that's been a good experience. We've been a week in, but yeah, everybody's doing well.
What kind? What kind of dog?
It's a Heeler Terrier mix. His name is Biscuit. So he's almost 5 months old. Yep.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, we had to put our 14-year-old Scotty Terrier down a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw.
Well, no, I appreciate all the kind words. I want to thank my friends Brian and Mary, which I forgot to do. They sent an unbelievable blanket with almost a life-size picture and a beautiful message. I'll tweet it out later. But anyway, okay. I was just looking through your webpage and everything else, and of course, following. We'll start with the Patriots, and I want to get your thoughts on a lot of things, not just Patriots, not just NFL, but college football as well, because we are 12 days away from Georgia Tech, Florida State, in Dublin, Ohio for week 0. And then, as I keep bragging about, I get to go to one of my bucket list places, which I fortunate enough in my career to be able to go to a lot of different stadiums and arenas, but I finally get to go to the Swamp to watch my Miami Hurricanes beat up on the Florida Gators, I'm hoping, on August 31st. But we'll get to that afterwards. So I think some good, you said observations from day 12 of training camp. I believe this was yesterday, right? Drake May throws the ball well. Pop Douglas pops. Front seven holds up against the run. Hunter Henry sits out, and a kicking competition. So pretty good day for the Patriots overall, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Drake May looked pretty good. Obviously, there's a lot of consternation up here as to why he only played a series on Thursday night against the Carolina Panthers, and I think that the questioning of that decision is warranted, Pete. I think he should have played more, especially in light of what the other 5 rookie quarterbacks that were taken in the first round did this weekend. I mean, it was a great weekend for that class. A good start. Yeah, it was a good start, but I think that there's a level of frustration here with the fact that he hasn't repped with the ones yet in camp. He didn't get a chance to play with them the other night, and I think fans and the media alike would like to see that, because I think we all agree he's not ready to start for you week 1 at Cincinnati, but he is certainly good enough to develop as the season goes on and possibly play after their week 14 bye. But again, I think we're going to see more of him. They do have a joint practice with the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow. But I think after what we saw this weekend, he needs to play more. And we need to see what he can do with the ones, because I think that he has come along the last couple of weeks, but I think if they let him play with the ones and get that experience, I think he'll be better off for it. Defensively, look, their defense the last 2 years, as tough as it's been for them, Pete, their defense has been their calling card, and so far, so good.
No question.
Defense looks pretty good. Obviously, you don't have Christian Barmore, which we don't know when he's going to come back. And you know what? At this point, his health is way more important than when he comes back. But they're going to be leaning on that defense again. I think they're going to run the ball pretty well. They've run the ball well so far in camp. But a lot of the attention so far has been on the quarterback development.
Yeah, and you and I watch a lot of college football, and so we've seen Milton a lot. I knew what he can bring to the table. I know he's got some faults, but man, goddamn it, he is exciting. He's exciting to watch. And they were the 2 best plays of the game, because such a snoozer of a game, which is typical for game 1 like that, especially against 2 worst offenses in the NFL from the previously. But Milton is interesting. This is not Michael Bishop, by the way, for those of you who want to make that analogy. This kid is much better than him. But it's interesting, and I'm sure the practice is going to be really. Bailey Zappi, I don't want to see anymore. There's no reason for him. He's going to either get traded or released, whatever. There is no reason for any more Bailey Zappi. But give me some Drake May and more Milton for the rest of the game coming up Thursday night against the Eagles. I'll be very happy.
Yeah, so would I. I mean, I'd love to see them both play a quarter. And then this is the preseason game where you tend to play your starters the most, especially since they've gone to the 3-game format. But I'm with you. I want to see more Drake May for sure, and I want to see more Joe Milton. Look, I love that they drafted Milton in the 6th round. And this is quintessential Ron Wolf, Elliott Wolf, Green Bay Packer. Take 2 quarterbacks every other draft, take a quarterback every draft, and develop them. You can never have enough of them. And if you're in search of the guy, that might be the way you find the guy. And if nothing else, to your point about Zappi, you could potentially use him as a trade chip. But so far, Joe Milton's been impressive at practice. He obviously had a really good showing on Thursday night with a strong 4th quarter there through the touchdown pass to Jaquay Jackson. There's a lot to like there. Now, I'm going to use a Mike Holmgren analogy with Joe Milton. He used to tell Brett Favre, no more rocket balls. I think Gerard Mayo needs to tell Joe Milton, no more rocket balls. Everything doesn't need to be throw it in there and force it. He's trying to force sand up a flea's ass, as John Gruden would say. I think he does need to learn. I think he does need to learn how to add and subtract on his throws. But to your point, Pete, this kid has got a lot of talent. We saw it when he was at Michigan in certain instances, and then we really got to see it the last 2 years at Tennessee. I think they have something there. Now, the interesting thing here is, and I want to get your take on it, you mentioned you're done with Bailey Zappi. I do think, though, given where they're at with Drake May's development, they are going to need a veteran backup. You do know what Zappi is. How do you handle this situation? Because I don't believe for 1 second that if you release Joe Milton, he gets to your practice squad. I think someone else ends up picking him up. So what do you do in this situation? Do you release Zappi like you did last year? And bring him back?
Maybe I release Zappi. I would be stunned if the 3 quarterbacks on this team are not Drake May and obviously Jacoby Brissett and Milton. There's no way. I can't see Bailey Zappi. I don't know if they were showcasing him the other night for whatever
It's a
reason.
good question. I asked that same question.
Did you? What was the response?
Well, I mean, it just the way it came about was not just. Here's the thing: in his post-game press conference, Zappi had no idea that he was going to play that much. He ended up playing 7 series, so I don't think he knew. I think they just kind of went with it, and they saw the flow of the game, and they're like, you know what? We don't want to risk putting May out there any more than we have to. Let's just roll with him, and we'll make it the Joe Milton show in the fourth quarter and keep the fans interested. But
And I felt badly for him being booed. They weren't booing him per se; they were booing the situation. That's what it was. So hopefully he understood that.
No, I think he did. And Bailey's a great kid. He's mature. He's smart. He even said it in the post-game press conference where, look, last year people were calling for me and I was getting cheered. This year I'm getting booed. That's a part of the business. I get it. So I think he understood that.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at Jalen Polk so far up close. I have tremendous high hope for this kid after what we saw last year at Washington with Michael Penix Jr. and company. I think he has the potential to be awesome. It's just, the wide receiver jinx the Patriots have. I hope it's not him, but I'm hearing good things about him. You're seeing him up close, and I'd like to see him get some more reps too come this Thursday.
Yeah, there's a lot to like there. Really smooth route runner, gets in and out of his breaks with ease, strong hands. He has a wide catch radius, and he's a guy that offers alignment versatility. He can play the X, he can play the Z, he can play the F. You can move him around in formations. There's a lot to like there. And I think part of the reason why they ended up releasing Juju Smith-Schuster on Saturday is they want to give these younger receivers a longer look. Him, Javon Baker, Kayshon Boutte, who had a really good game on Thursday night, 3 catches for 53 yards. So it made sense. I mean, plus the other thing is, Pete, if you saw Smith-Schuster up close, that knee, I don't know how they signed him. That knee,
I don't either.
Yeah, that knee was bad. They clearly botched it with Jacoby Myers, a guy that they signed, they developed over $2 million to not bring him back made no sense to me. But when you see Smith-Schuster up close and personal, he couldn't move. So I think that was the right move both for him and for them. They want to see what these young guys can do. And look, give me as much Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, Boutte, Pop Douglas. Give me as much as possible of those guys. Because if you look at, and again, I hate to keep going back to them, but I think there's a lot of organizational similarities. But if you look at what Green Bay did the last 2 years, revamping their tight end room, their wide receiver room, that's what the Patriots are trying to do here. And I think it's smart. You're not a Super Bowl contender in 2024. I'm not saying they're punting on the season, but you're not a Super Bowl contender. You might as well see what you have in these guys. If they can grow and develop, now you have a nice receiving core that can grow and develop with your 2 young quarterbacks.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's why I want to see Drake May out there, though, sooner rather than later. I'm just wondering how our football brothers and sisters in the media would have covered quarterbacks, even like Drew Bledsoe back in the day, thrown right to the wolves. Troy Aikman, I don't know how he got out of the first season at Dallas, and go even back further to Terry Bradshaw, Phil Simms, Roger Staubach. I mean, everybody went there. It wasn't like all these great quarterbacks went in. And Marino might be the one exception that came in right away and lit it up. He's one of the few that I can think of. Andrew Luck is another one, but he retired way too soon. But it just doesn't happen. But I don't mind throwing a quarterback to the wolves. I'm like old school that way. I know what Jacoby Brissett is. I've seen enough of him. I get it. But obviously, to your point, yes, Drake May has not taken any reps with the ones yet, which to me is concerning. Maybe this week in practice, he's going to. And I just want to see what he can do. I know what the process is going to be. It's not going to be. Everybody has to be patient. It's wins are going to attract free agents. That's why Brandon Ayuk is not going to come here. Doesn't matter what the money is. Despite
and Mayo said that yesterday in his pre-practice presser.
Yeah, wins are good. You got to get the process, the quote unquote the culture back. And that's what wins do. So I just want to see a progress being made, like Bledsoe in his first year. At the end of the year, he won the last 3 or 4 games in a row, knocked Miami out of the playoffs. That was brilliant. So that's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I think if you're a realistic Patriots fan, that's what you're kind of hoping for this year as well. All that being said, I don't see any scenario where he plays early. Now, if Brissett is ineffective, if he gets hurt, that's one thing. But I think at the end of the day, I don't see them playing him right away. I think that they're going to leave the training wheels on. They're going to take their time with him. I do think ultimately he does play this year. As of now, I'm hedging towards him playing later than sooner. But to your point, there are a lot of people that feel the same way as you do, my friend, that, you know what, just throw him out there, let him play. Bill Belichick used to say this all the time, right? I mean, you're not going to get better unless you play. And so I think at the end of the day, a lot of people agree with you. Let him get out there, let him play. If nothing else, it would add a certain level of excitement to this football season because, quite frankly, there isn't much going into this season. I mean, fans' expectations are not very high. They're not the buzz that you typically see up there in all the years you covered them. It's not there right now, and nor should it be. They haven't been very good the last few years. So I do think, though, that if things don't go the way that they want early, you're probably going to see him within the first 6 or 7 weeks. And that schedule, they're probably going to struggle out of the gate. You could see him sooner than week 15.
Yeah, the schedule is brutal in the AFC East for all the teams, as it is in the NFC East, because they play each other, and there are a few teams. I mean, it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they do out of the gate. What's your moving past the Patriots? Which drama do you like better, the Jets or the Cowboys? I make fun of both teams. I make fun of the Jets every day as often as I can. But this stuff with Jerry Jones and CeeDee Lamb, I mean, it is just unbelievable. The cartoon character that Jerry Jones has become, and it's been that way for a long time. But anyway, my initial question is, which drama do you like better, Jets or Cowboys?
Oh, Cowboys. Cowboys, 100%. The Jets are the Jets. I mean, they've always been a putz organization, but Cowboys. Because they're America's team, because there's these phony expectations on them every year, and I'm getting tired of it. Every year they're labeled a Super Bowl contender simply because they're the Dallas Cowboys. And it's ridiculous to me. It's so unwarranted. And once again, here we are talking about Dak Prescott's contract, CeeDee Lamb's contract. They're a Super Bowl contender. They're not. They're going to go 12-5, and they'll fall on their face again on the wild card round. And that'll be that. Mike McCarthy will get let go. They may hire Bill Belichick. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's always a circus with them. There's always an issue. When was the last time you remember an offseason that there wasn't an issue with them? And to your point, Jerry Jones is a cartoon character now. He just says things to say things.
But Dak Prescott is loving this because there ain't no way I don't see him signing anytime soon with the Cowboys. And why should he? He's going to be the high because it's his time now. You know, it's his. He will be the highest paid player in the NFL when it's all said and done. So there's no rush for him at all to re-sign with Dallas now. I mean, Dallas probably could have made him a really great offer before the Trevor Lawrence and Tua Tagovailoa signings. And, maybe Trevor or even maybe Tua sure would have surpassed it at the time. But the fact that it didn't seem they were serious enough about it. And I hear a lot of their fans, and they're going to move on with who? Who are they going to move on with after next year?
No. And after yesterday, can you say it's Trey Lance? I mean, I'm ready to admit I was wrong on him. I loved him coming out of North Dakota State. He has backup quarterback written all over him. I don't even know if he's that right now. Again, another byproduct of that 2021 class.
No question. John Serenides joining me again. After Harry again, the second most favorite Greek in Boston.
Although I will say this, my mother's best friend. Yeah, my mother's best friend is, I think, 91. She dated him in high school, so there you go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow, that's something.
She went on a date with him. I'm not sure they dated. I don't know if they were a thing, but she definitely went on a date with him. Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Harry Gant is one of the great athletes of our time. Played for the Red Sox and the Patriots, and went way, way before his time, unfortunately. Let's talk a little college football here. I make fun of Michigan as much as I can. It's just. It's a Big Ten thing with me sometimes. And here in Southwest Florida, John, if you ever come down this way, you would think you were in Columbus at times. It's just surrounded. I'm surrounded by Ohio State people.
I don't know if you remember this. I am a big Buckeyes fan, so there you go.
You are, yes, you are. But let's
feel free to crap all over Michigan.
No, I understand that. But they got their own issues coming up this year, and the slap on the wrist that Harbaugh got. Which, Charlie Baker, nobody has it. The NCAA is such a joke. Nobody has any. Did we lose John? Did we lose him? See if we can get it. Yeah. See. My computer just said it's shutting down in 3 minutes. Ugh. Why? Yep.
If it said it's shutting down, it's probably because if you didn't plug it in, and if he's on his laptop, that means the battery.
Oh, battery. Oh, damn it.
Battery timeout.
Oh, my God.
C.
Ah, shit. That stinks.
It's okay. You
It's
might
so
be
good.
able to make it before it comes, before he goes completely out, but it happens. But that's more than likely that's what it was. It's probably he had his laptop connected and just forgot to. I forgot whether we had another guest too a while back did the same thing. He forgot. May have been Pat. I'm not certain, but it might have been Pat where they forgot to plug it in and they went away and then they came back.
Oh, man. Oh, that's a shame. Well, I was going to ask him about, not only, the Big Ten and Ohio State. And let's see. He just sent me a text. He said, update, I'll jump right back on shortly.
Yep. So
Okay.
one of the two things, or Windows. Remember, it actually happened to me not so long ago where Windows decided in the middle of right after the show when I was supposed to go on to update and then just blew everything to bits. And I had to rebuild it all over again, but it's okay. Could be worse. So we'll wait.
I just text Patrick Gilroy to hold off until 9:35 because I want to get some college football thoughts here with John Serenides as well. I thought the AP poll was coming out today. Is it tonight? I thought the AP college football poll.
I thought it was coming out tonight too.
I believe it's coming out today or this afternoon or tonight. So just to go back over while we wait for John to reconnect here in the coaches poll that was released last week. Georgia number 1, Ohio State 2, Oregon 3. Oh, that's not right. Texas 4, Alabama 5. Yeah. Ole Miss 6, Notre Dame 7, Michigan 8, Penn State 9, Florida State 10, Missouri 11, LSU 12, Utah 13, Clemson at 14, Tennessee 15, Oklahoma 16, Kansas State 17, Oklahoma State 18. Miami should be ranked higher, but they're 19th. Texas A&M 20, Arizona 21, NC State 22, USC 23, Kansas 24, and Iowa 25. The big question of the year, will LSU and SC, when they play, I believe they play week 1, whatever the total is right now, bet the over. Whatever it is. I don't care if it's 110, and I am being dead serious. If the total was 100, I would bet over. Because there's no way in hell that those two teams' defenses improved that much in that shorter period of time. That is going to be, talk about fireworks in a game. I'd be stunned if it's not.
I'm going to ask the dumb gambling question. When you say like as far as like to bet the over and under on the, let's just say if it's Hard Rock, just for Eagles, is there a selection on there that says like over and or under?
Oh, it's the total points for the game. Every football game has a total, every single one. Now, usually in the NFL, they range from usually between like 39 and 50. If it's more high scoring, so it's more scoring in college football, but every game has the total number of points. A lot of people just bet totals. So, for instance, like I said, you bet the under. You look at all the NFL games from the weekend. And just to punch up an example real quick, I'm trying to get John Serenides back on. May not be able to get him back on. Dallas and the Rams, say the total was 35 yesterday. So I'd say bet the under. They only scored 25 total points. So that's what I mean. But you're going to get, I promise you, the total for, and when I've seen totals as high as 70.5, close to 80 at times. Oklahoma, Texas games in the past, some other high scoring, non-defensive type games. You keep track of that. But anyway, there he is. He's back.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Laptop update gets you every time.
Got to plug it in, right? The battery go dead?
No, the battery was fine. It just did its random update.
What?
I've got about 3 laptops sitting here, and they're all giving me a hard time. That's why I bought a new one this weekend. In any event.
In any event, getting back, we were talking about college football, and Ryan Day. If he doesn't win it this year, then all bets are off. And if he loses to Michigan, you agree. If he loses to Michigan,
he's done.
I don't know Harbaugh. He's done. I don't know Harbaugh got away with it the 4 years he lost to them, or 5 years, or whatever it was. Each one worse than the other. But
I think he got away with it because he was a Michigan man, and I think that probably saved him.
Yeah. But you agree, Ohio State, this is it. Chips are all in. If they don't get it this year, he's done. Or what if they lose to Michigan but win the national championship?
No, I don't think he's done then, because I think ultimately, as much as it sucks losing to Michigan, that trumps the Michigan game. But yeah, I think that they have the most pressure in the country on them. They spent a lot of money in NIL free agency, bringing in Will Howard and bringing in the back and some of the other guys that they brought in. I mean, their boosters spent a lot of money. Expectations are going to be very high. They got to be Michigan. They got to win the Natty. Otherwise, I think he's out of a job.
I'm so looking forward to not only week 0 with Florida State and Georgia Tech. Like I said, I'm going to the Swamp that day. Clemson and Georgia open up at noontime. Then my Hurricanes and Florida at 3:30. But the other game, I was just talking to Angel about totals. I don't know what the total is for USC and LSU. I don't care if it's 100, John. I would take the over. There is no way those two defenses are going to improve that quickly. That could be, arguably, I can make a prediction. That could be one of the highest scoring games in the history of Division I over the last 25 years.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's going to be offensive plenty in that game, and I would definitely take the over as well. I mean, you're talking about a game that's going to be in the 50s between the two teams, and you should get over 100 if obviously we're assuming that's not going to be the total, but it'll be up there. But I think at the end of the day, again, first of all, when you're talking about a Lincoln Riley coach team, they've never played good defense. Then you look at all of a sudden, Brian Kelly's Notre Dame teams played good defense, but as we saw last year, they didn't play good defense down in the Bayou. They've got to be better. That's going to be a fun game, a high-scoring one for sure.
Absolutely, John. All right, last minute here. So what else you got coming? Now, you're not still coaching anymore, are you, or are you?
No, I got roped back into it. I'm helping out again a couple of days a week at the high school I was at, King Philip in Rentham. So I'm back there. And we got our high school coverage.
You won a bunch of championships there.
We won it in 16 and 17, and then we won it again last year. So, yeah, we've gone, I believe, to Gillette 6 of the last 7 years. So it's been a good run.
That's awesome. And what else you got? I mean, obviously, the Women's Football Journal is doing awesome with you and your staff. You guys do a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, we got the Patriots. Obviously, Philly's in town tomorrow for joint practices. And then, of course, we're going to continue our camp visits with the 16 D1 programs. And high school football kicks off today in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Rhode Island, Massachusetts on Friday, Connecticut next week. So we got a lot going on here.
How about Salem, New Hampshire in the Little League World Series? How about that? I watched that the other day.
It's been a nice run for them, a surprising run. So, and New Hampshire high school football, pretty good football. So we're excited about getting up there a little bit more this year. It's been tough finding freelancers and people that want to write throughout the region, but we're getting there with that. So we hope to expand our high school coverage this year. We've been mostly Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut.
All right, John. Maybe we do this again next week. I love talking to you, and I'll give you. I'd like to have you on. And I know
let's do it, man. I'm in. I love talking to you too, brother.
Love you, buddy. All right, you headed to Patriots training camp. Good luck, and we'll talk to you soon, John.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. Please give Elaine my best.
I will do.
Right,
and
take
your
care,
wife also. All right, take care. Quick break here, and then Patrick Gilroy is going to join us up next. We'll get his thoughts on, see if he agrees with Shaq. I think he will, about the Olympic basketball team being, who cares, unless they win by 20 every time. It is the Pete Shepard Show right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, IonTB.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Chicken and Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak from Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu. Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Jardiniere.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have anybody to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
For the best in college football and NFL talk, check out The Pete Shepard Show, 7 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday.
All right, welcome back. Final segment of the Pete Shepard Show here. Patrick Gilroy on Hoops, and, of course, on the podcast that you hear on this network with Let's Chat with Kat and Pat. When's that? Is that going to be on today, Angels? Well, I haven't looked at the webpage. My bad. I hate to put you on the spot. I didn't know when they're – I know they just released one a little bit ago. Oh, I'll just ask the man himself. Joining me right now, Patrick Gilroy, our NBA insider and co-host of Let's Chat with Kat and Pat, which you can hear on this network as well, on Coastal Sports Network. Good morning, Patrick. How are you?
Good morning, Pete. I'm doing well. I'm glad that the Olympics are over. I'm so over it. I'm glad they're done. Let's just put it to bed.
So I played the cut from Shaq. I think he said it over the weekend. I mean, it's like, it's ridiculous that people, he hates, he's not a fan of how this Olympic team performed. They don't win by 20. He's like, it's like a lot. I don't blame him. This is the most ho-hum thing I've ever seen in my life. And Steve Kerr coached this team like a jackass. I didn't even need him out there. I can't wait for those Golden State games next year. I was talking with Glenn Ordway on Friday about it. We agree. It's his excuses and the way he coached this team. I'm not going to say it's unforgivable, but I mean, it just clearly biases and fragrance that he had. There's no doubt about it. You saw Jason Tatum get more minutes 4 years ago than you did this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's been a lot of talk around the NBA for years that Kerr is one of the most overrated coaches in the history of the league. You can make the argument that Mark Jackson handed him a title-ready team and then essentially the cheat code in getting Kevin Durant. People forget, too, that he won multiple championships alongside Michael Jordan as a player. He's just had a knack of putting himself into these incredibly lucky situations. But you're right, Pete. And I think if you go back and you look at the way that Greg Popovich coached that team 4 years ago, it's clear, head and shoulders, he is a much better coach than Steve Kerr because Pop didn't face the same issues. He never once said, there's too much talent, 12-man roster. You can only play 10 guys.
Of course not.
Pop found a way to make sure that every guy was taken care of, and it made every guy feel like they had an impact on winning and on winning that gold medal. I'm not going to pretend to get into the head of a Jason Tatum or a Tyrese Halliburton, who also played sparingly in the Olympics. But, to be on the team, to have to fly over there, play against the world, be on this stage, and then get humiliated, not once, but twice in the case of Tatum, it's unforgivable is a strong word, but it may just be unforgivable. It's good news for Celtics fans because he's going to come back. He's going to come back with a massive chip on his shoulder, which is great. You've already got a chip the size of New England on the shoulders of Jaylen Brown, and now it looks like you've given Jason Tatum a reason to stay sharp, stay ready, and to come back with a vengeance this season.
Yeah, I mean, if you had told me we'd see more of Drew Holiday and Derek White than Jason Tatum, I would have said you were nuts.
Yeah,
but that's exactly what happened. Like I said, and Tatum got a little banged up a tiny bit, but overall, everybody comes back reasonably healthy. And like we said, you brought up a great point last time we spoke. It's going to be interesting, the beginning of the season, how Joe Mazzulla handles those three guys because of all the basketball they played the last 3 years. I mean, really have, but especially the last two plus the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the 2022 NBA Finals against Golden State. And, playing in through mid-June, I believe that series went 6 games. And then last year going to the conference finals and, of course, winning the championship this year. On top of the fact that the year before the finals run, Tatum played with the Team USA. So, this guy hasn't had a summer off in going on half a decade. I wouldn't be surprised, especially with Porzingis out till at least Christmas. The team is not going to be at their best. So if Mazzulla wanted to essentially have this team coast for the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season, I don't think Celtics fans are looking for this team to get the all-time wins record, to win 65 games again. No, win 50, 55 games, be a 2-3 seed, and be healthy as you enter April. That's got to be the goal going into this season for Mazzulla.
No question. What about some of the other guys on this? What about guys like Joel Embiid and others? I mean, how do you think they're going to? I mean, I know the goal is to always have him healthy in the postseason for Philadelphia, and he hasn't always performed at his best. But for a guy like Joel Embiid playing in the Olympics, how do you think how is he going to fare with the 76ers? How do you think they'll handle him?
I think they're going to have to, again, handle him with kid gloves. They did it last year, and he still broke down. You heard, I think it was Charles Barkley talking about it during their playoff run, that Joel's got to lose 20 pounds if he wants to extend his career. It's clear that his body cannot handle the rigors of an 82-game season, let alone an extended playoff run. This is not once in a while that he breaks down. He breaks down year after year after year. And you see so many of these guys, once they've got 8, 9, 10 years in the league, they're forced to change their body type. And I love that Barkley's the one that brought it up, because if you look at what Charles Barkley was with Philadelphia early on in his career, the round mound to rebound, he was a little soft. He was a little, he wasn't quite as chiseled. But by the time he was wrapping up his time with the Suns and eventually with the Rockets, the guy got himself into great shape, and it helped him extend his career. He'll tell you, he doesn't make those finals runs with the Suns unless he got his ass into great shape. And he credits Dan Marley for that, and getting him into the gym and teaching him how to treat his body right. Somebody's got to get in Joel Embiid's ear and get him to figure this thing out. Doc couldn't do it when he coached there. You've had a series of different superstar pairings with Joel, and he's been unwilling or unable to sort of listen to anybody when it comes to taking care of his body. And if he doesn't do it, then he's taking years of his career, and he's probably going to cost Philadelphia, if not a championship, possibly 2 or 3 championships. He should retire with at least one with that sort of skill set and that body. But it doesn't look like he's capable of staying healthy for a prolonged playoff run.
Will he be more? I don't know, with the additions that they have, and Paul and Maxey and everything else, the extension and all that stuff. On paper, it should be a 4-team race. It really should, especially like you said, with Porzingis being out until Christmas. The Celtics, Bucks, 76ers, and the Villanova Knicks, they should be it should be pretty close, I think, heading up to Christmas time. It really should be, unless there's some catastrophic injuries out there.
Yeah, I mean, it should be. Again, Philadelphia is a funny team. They've tried multiple stars alongside Joel Embiid. That's why the city of Philadelphia isn't overly excited right now. Adding Paul George, great. We've seen them do this before. They did it with Harden. They did it with Jimmy Butler. Nobody has really worked out. And now you bring in a 34, 35-year-old Paul George, who, oh, by the way, constantly injured when he was out there in LA. When he's right and he's healthy, he's one of the premier scorers in the league. But you're banking your title hopes on the tiny percentage that Paul George and Joel Embiid remain healthy for the entirety of the season. That's just not a gamble I'd be willing to take if I were a betting man, because history tells us that at least one, if not both of those guys are going to go down for an extended amount of time this season. But you're right, 6 weeks into the season, call it Halloween through Christmas, it should be a 4-team race. The Celtics will not be at their best. And my God, the Milwaukee Bucks, if they don't figure it out this year, they're going to have to think long and hard about blowing that team up, because again, a dynamic duo like no other, you would think that team on paper should easily be competing for the number 1 seed against the Celtics. But if they look anything like they looked last year, sure, any given night, the talent rises to the top. But that team played no defense. They played with no consistency. They played with no heart, no hustle. And they stopped figuring out how to get the best out of Joel Embiid. And that's where the difference maker is in a Drew Holiday. People that are casual fans look at Drew and they say, well, his numbers are down. Why is he on the Olympic team? Why is he so well respected by his peers across the league? It's because he's one of these few guys that A, doesn't make mistakes on the offensive end, B, puts his teammates in positions to succeed, and C, leads by example on defense. And I don't think you can say any of those three things about what you've got going on in the backcourt right now with the Milwaukee Bucks. So that team better show up in shape in training camp, ready to listen to Doc and ready to do something to make sure that you are putting Giannis in the best possible position to succeed on the floor. Because if he's got to go out there and do it all by himself for another season, he's going to be, my prediction is he's the next superstar that demands a trade.
Oh, I totally agree. And again, you make a great point about Drew Holiday. I've been talking about it all year. Of course, he made sacrifices. They don't need him to scoring us down by 2.5 points, 3 points, whatever it is. But when they did need him a couple of times to step up and score 20 plus, he did it. So you talk about knowing your role and staying within yourself, which is so overused at times. He's a perfect example of an absolute, team player, and he knows they're meeting a sacrifice. It's because the sacrifices like him and a lot of others, despite what these idiots on ESPN and NBA TV said for much of the year about Tatum, if he doesn't score 25 a night and 10 rebounds, they're not going to win. It's all bullshit, because that is the Celtics were a team. They had 8 or 9 guys that could have stepped up, it seemed, during the regular season anyway, that if somebody starter was down and out or not having a great night, one of the bench guys would come in. And Drew, when he had to score 20 plus, he scored 20 plus.
Yeah, there were plenty of times in the playoffs where Tatum or Brown couldn't get it going and they needed another option. They needed a third guy to step up when Porzingis went down for an extended period of time. That was Porzingis' role all season long, to be that third offensive option to keep the defense honest. And completely different style of play, Porzingis versus Drew Holiday, but the same effectiveness, right? It's a third guy that's capable of filling up the stat sheet, giving you 20 points, and instead of giving you 18 and 10 the way Porzingis does, Drew would give you 16 and 8 assists, but he'd do it with playing within himself, playing mistake-free basketball. And you really have two of the more intelligent backcourt players in the league on the Celtics, in Drew Holiday and in Derek White. And those two are such a huge reason why this team is set for success for the foreseeable future. I will say this, though. It is a copycat league. And for the betterment and for the good of the league that we both love, Pete, I really hope that what the Celtics did is the next thing to be sort of copied around the league. I hope we're seeing the end of the days where teams...
Did we lose Patrick? Damn it. I'm trying to get him back. Joey says Steve Kerr, another example of failing up. Common narrative in sports, it seems. Kerr's ego is beyond narcissistic. Yep. Patrick Gilroy, great segment, great NBA insights. Learn more from this segment than any ESPN or NBA network show. Well done. Coastal Sports Network, great guest. Thanks, Joey. Well, that's why I have him on. Let's see. We lost him. Damn it. And the Let's Chat with Cat and Pat, is that coming up today at all, or is that tomorrow?
The latest episode will drop tomorrow. So that'll be coming up tomorrow. I've got a couple other things to move around and stuff on these schedules because I got to get the replays posted back up there, and so that's part of stuff for today. But yeah, the newest one that they have is up there. I did get, funny enough, 2 emails from people saying, "How dare you play such nonsense?" And which of course is followed by an LOL. They loved it because they thought, "Wow, you guys actually play anything that you want." I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's as real and as raw as it's possibly going to get. So I know
what nonsense are they talking? I mean, yeah, I mean,
no, they were making fun, saying that they actually enjoyed it. So they were, they enjoyed it. So that's what it was. So yeah,
well, that's I mean, all the video that I have Angel play, I mean, I don't do it just for shits and giggles. I mean, I do it because either it's informative or it's going to be entertaining or both. That's why watching Trisha Whitaker run across the field to get her player interview for some unknown reason, and then dropping her shoe, running it high. That stuff's funny to me. Stuff that, that's why having a video platform is so big. Playing the Colts guy, singing that stupid, ridiculous song is another one.
I didn't know that was a thing. I thought it was like something he just kind of came up with. I didn't realize, apparently, I guess he does it every season.
All right, before we go, because we can't get Patrick back, I'm sure that I was going to ask him about the Salem Little League team in New Hampshire, if they were the Buzz. But if we could scroll down on my Twitter page, the first one down, my buddy Steve Burton, besides the mayor proclaiming Steve Burton Day last week, which was hysterical, but he does a show at 11 o'clock, which I've been fortunate enough to be on a few times in my life, called Sports Final, where they recap everything. It's actually around 11:35, and he usually has great guests on. So last night he had Mike Reese, who you know from ESPN, covers the Patriots, and Christian Fourier, who works at WEEI and former co-host of mine as well on the radio. And I don't know, they paid homage to Steve. I guess it was his birthday last night too. So here's how it went down. It's pretty funny.
Are we good if I say that? Again? Or do you want him to leapfrog Drake May and
Should we celebrate
Actually,
now?
let's celebrate. Hold on one second.
Let's celebrate.
We are so thorough right now. It was Steve Burton Day. Hold on one second. We're taking over here. It was Steve Burton Day it was Steve Burton Day on Wednesday, and now it's your birthday. It is this. You're our fearless leader.
I appreciate that. What are you doing?
Happy birthday to you.
I appreciate that.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Steve.
Happy birthday. Okay, make a wish, but don't say Joe Milton makes the team. Don't say Joe Milton. Go.
Here's my wish. Thank you.
Hey, that's for Joe.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
I
love it. Tried to keep it healthy for you.
We know you're on a diet. The older you get, the harder it is to lose weight, too.
Steve Burton Day on Wednesday. Happy birthday. Happy, healthy, many more.
That.
And happy birthday to Kim, too.
Kim. How about Miss Kim Fourier?
That's right.
You had my wife. Same birthday. There you go.
Steve, we set it up with Joe, our great producer. He knew it was coming, so he gave us a little more time.
Let's introduce you back to the other Joe.
Yes. As he puts it in his mouth. It's unbelievable.
Oh, God.
You're the best.
Kiwi.
I like this guy. I love you guys. Yes. I appreciate this birthday.
Absolutely, buddy.
Happy birthday,
hey,
Steve.
We're winning an Emmy this year. Let's go. Hands in.
Oh man, yeah, Christian's a riot. Always loved him as a player, and he's really good on the radio. We had a lot of good shows with him back in the day. Anyway, well, that's good. I think that's gonna do it for this show. Good job once again, Angel. Let me get my closing theme music here. Yeah, good job once again, Angel. A lot of good stuff and Rick and I are gonna play with golf tomorrow too, God willing. Anyway, thanks to Angel Martinez again for putting this whole thing together, co-hosting, and all that great stuff, hitting all the buttons and making sure everything is smooth. Tomorrow, another show. I'll be back at 7 a.m. More great guests, and We will break down. We'll get into a lot more college football and a lot more. Hear a lot more from NFL camp. Some joint practices this week from Angels, Eagles, and my Patriots. So that should be a lot of fun. Over under on number of fights. I'll say 3.
That's a good number.
Yeah, I'll say 3. All right, everybody, have a great and safe rest of your Monday. For all you parents out there whose kids are in school today and you're working from home, enjoy the peace for another, 4 or 5 hours. But still, right? Great that the kids are back in school. Collier County here tomorrow, Lee County today. All right, everybody, have a great and safe rest of your Monday. As always, bye.